Hello, hello.
Hello.
We are doing great today. I'm joined by Stallion here for the EHL X VUELTA FFA week number 3. We're a little bit far along in this tournament now, Stallion. You're kind of just joining us in a part way through. You've not really been following this too closely, which is fair enough. So I'll try and bring a little bit of the past knowledge if I can for some of these players we've got coming through. But how are you doing today, man?
Yeah, good. Ready to see some free-for-all action. I know free-for-all is a whole different dynamic to what we see with, 4-on-4s. So looking forward to seeing how the players match up today.
Yeah, chucking you straight in the deep end. We go with HCS on Sunday, and now we're in for an FFA. So we got some very high-skilled players signed up today. It's looking like we're going to have lobbies around 6 or 7 just because we're kind of keeping them even. That's kind of how it goes. I'm hoping in a second we can have a look at kind of who we got coming up. But before we get on to that, it's been quite a busy news week, which is a little bit weird mid-HCS season, a couple of weeks before a major. But any couple topics that we heard in that little HCS broadcast, or sorry, Halo broadcast we had 2 days ago that you want to maybe have a discussion about?
Yeah, I mean, we could start by looking at what they're planning with the Banished update. I know the devs were really showing about their new colourful Forge updates that they're bringing into the game. It looks very... It's very futuristic, actually. I haven't played Forge in a while, to be fair, but I mean, a lot of the additions that they're bringing into the game do look good. Did you have a chance to check it out?
Yeah. So I've had a look, and everyone loves cosmetics, right?
Yeah.
We have a very interesting kind of, as you said, like a Banished kind of brute-ish themed cosmetics coming along with Spartans, but I'm here for it. I think a little bit inside me was hoping they were going to be like, oh yeah, we've added playable brutes, but knowing these guys, that would be a very last minute. You'd expect a little bit more hype and fanfare around something like that. But I think what's kind of important that comes along with those, sticking on the cosmetic fronts, is they've included Spartan points now from MCC, which is going to be an amazing change for those of us that actually dedicate decent amount of time in the game. We feel like we get a little bit more rewards. Sounds like we're probably going to be getting them as Twitch drops alongside being earnable in game, which is going to be a very interesting dynamic, especially kind of for us. We put on these streams for you guys, and if we can give you guys more rewards for watching us and more enjoyment in actually participating in kind of these kind of competitive events, then I'm all here for it. Anything you want to make about that?
I mean, I think it's good to have, all players wanting to be able to play to earn something, right? Whether they brought in the rank system, I can't remember when that was. I think it was about probably 6 months to a year ago now, where you get like the more you play, you earn your silver, then gold, like your
Career
actual
rank.
player rank.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. So to have this option in now just, rewards the players for actually putting the time in, not always just spending money. And also, if you've missed out on previous weekly drops and rewards and other things that you might not get if you don't have enough time or you're just watching streams, Twitch drops are always a great incentive too. And again, that just incentivizes the people who are streaming, ourselves that put these tournaments on, etc. So to be honest, I see it as a win all round.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm hoping they just expand it even more and just keep adding more and more content to this. Because I know that if you look at MCC, the amount of content you can get through Spartan points is kind of insane, right? Yeah. And it really just adds to the enjoyability of the game. Okay, one more comment I want to touch on, or yeah, we're touching it now. I'm trying to make sure we have enough to talk about later. New map. We have a new HCS map coming, right? I mean, I don't think anybody expected this. We've been kind of begging for new maps to come through. Although this one's not particularly new. It's new to me because I never played Halo 5. So the game, the map in Infinite is going to be called Interference, but it is a remake of the rig from Halo 5. Did you play much Halo 5, Stallion?
Little bit, mainly towards the start of it. I used to play a fair bit of big team battle with some friends, but that was all really, to be honest. Anything from 4, it was like that, so...
Yeah, I mean, I never owned an Xbox One, so I actually just never played Halo 5. Do you remember the map at all? Did you ever play the rig?
Yes, I remember seeing it. I think I played it a few times, but didn't have too much experience on it.
Okay, so I've been trying to kind of keep up with it. Want to make sure that I'm on top of these kind of things. I've seen a few like overlay of fly-throughs with kind of the call-outs on the map. I've watched a little bit of playbacks from all the way back in Halo 5, seeing kind of how the map was played, and it seems like a very sniper heavy map with a lot of long lanes. I think that's why they've even said they removed the sniper from King of the Hill. Yeah, I want to say one of the game modes they removed the sniper from. So it's King of the Hill, Strongholds, and Slayer, I believe it supports. They've chosen to not go for Oddball on it, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad we're going to have a new map. And it looks, I think you commented earlier, it looks a lot like Lockout in terms of the theming they've gone for it.
Yeah, a lot like Lockout. I've seen mixed opinions online about that. It's very greyish and it's quite like dimmed down and dark. Some people prefer that vibe. Some people want to see a bit more, I guess, colour to it. But, you know, you'll always have differences in opinions on that. I mean, we played it a few times in ranked last night, and it's quite a lot of open areas as well, especially specifically to the right-hand side of the map, where there's a lot of open ground, low and top. But there's also areas where you can play corners, and obviously you've got overshield in the middle as well. So yeah, no real like bugs with playing it. To be fair, I quite enjoyed it. So
yeah, I'm excited to see how it plays for other game modes that possibly doesn't support, so like FFA, for example. I'd be interested to see how that kind of works out. Now, I have got in my ear that the lobby is filling up quite nicely, so maybe we should park that conversation for now. Maybe we can come back to that later. I'd love to hear about how your matches went last night on it. So let's have a chat through who we've got in our games right now. I'm going to list the players, and you scream if you notice anybody, and then I'll fill in the gaps, right? So we have Tempt, we have Millsy, we have Percussion, CK Sned, Suspense, and I7948.
Ooh, this is a bit of a hot lobby.
I won't hold anything against you. But any of those players that immediately just kind of ring alarm bells, maybe a name you've heard?
Yeah, there's a few actually. I mean, I knew of Percussion even before joining production with you guys. Actually, somebody who I've known through playing and streaming Halo. Cool. And I know what other talent Percussion is, so that's going to be interesting to watch. As well as obviously I7, we saw the I would say, you know, despite the results towards the semi-final and the grand final, you know, the masterclass performance that he was putting on, especially as a young player. So really looking forward to seeing that. And then obviously Millsy as well. So a couple of names in there that I recognise that I'm looking forward to seeing compete tonight.
Yeah, so I think if I had to kind of pull out a few names from there, I would reckon, yeah, I7 is going to be up near the top. I don't think I've seen him play too much FFA. He did play, he was signed up last week. I can't remember if he actually ended up in the tournament, but I don't think we had him on cast. He's going to be performing very, very well. And he is very much kind of like a solo player as he plays fours. He doesn't, I've seen him queue MM solo a lot. I never really see him scrimming in a group. Obviously that's changed a little bit now that HCS he has been kind of practicing with his team. So I'm excited to see how he performs. Millsy is always a standout player, just in everything he does. So in FFA, he's probably where I'm going to put at the top of this lobby. However, you know, it's just a toss-up between him and I7 because I can't really comment on I7 specifically in FFA. But yeah, we're going to transition into this fly-through, and hopefully we can get into this game pretty quickly. I think off the wrap, it's going to start off pretty even. All these players are very skilled. I think last week we saw some players trickle in that kind of just wanted to dip their toes in FFA, maybe some kind of high diamond sort of plat level players, which, you know, is very good. But when we're playing against the standard of these, you know, Millsy, I7, Percussion, it's just like a completely different ball game. And with someone like CK Sned and Tempt in there as well, they're definitely no pushovers. They play a lot of tournaments. They're gonna perform incredibly well as well. And FFA is a little bit of a mixed bag. It can just get a little bit lucky with how your spawns go and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think you've absolutely said it right with it being a mixed bag. And, you know, FFA is all about just, you know, positioning and just seeing where players are fighting, maybe looking to pick up 2-3 kills where possible. So I'll be curious to see on who's really looking to snap it up today.
Cool, well, let's get straight into this. So we're going to be on the board following Percussion as we start. He is doing very, very nicely off the wrap as he's bagged himself the overshield. So Aquarius is the standard FFA map. If you're playing a HCS FFA tournament, you will basically only play Aquarius. It's the only map that they support. So a lot of these players know how to play Aquarius with FFA. When we get into live fire later on, we might see it go slightly differently. But, oh, yeah, nice try there, I7. Tried to go for the back smack. Honestly, what else are you going to do against an overshield? But the side of the map that you see kind of P side over near where the overshield spawns is where you quite often see players kind of hanging out. But we have quite a bit of a brawl going on here back of green. Millsy's already hit the killing spree. Double kill for him, and he has the heatwave in his back pocket. That should at least bag him one more kill as he is 5-0 at the moment, taking this leaderboard from the top.
Yeah, I think you basically said Millsy the man to watch, right? What a great start, 6-0, really showing the lobby that he's come here to play today. There's still a couple of shots left in the heat wave as we go over to Temp now, holding this top mid position. Be very curious to see on how these players play, on who chooses to go high ground, low ground. Usually, obviously, if you're on high ground, holding that top middle position, sure, you can get more shots out on these players, but then you're probably going to get looked at from more people around the map. So curious to know what your thoughts are on actually positioning and where you would play it if you're in the position.
Well, I mean, as we get onto Suspense, I think Suspense is playing this absolutely perfectly. You want to be sitting on the P side, you have a little bit extra cover. If you go top mid and you're too exposed, it's not like 4v4. There's not all those players to kind of back you up to get those spawns in a favorable position, so you know where you're looking. You can literally get shot from anywhere. So Suspense was playing that perfectly fine and then decided to push into yellow because he was not be able to find any players. And that's another thing you got to consider. With FFA, kills is what matter. Then it's assists, then it's deaths. So when you're playing a game like that, you really want to make sure that you're getting as many kills per second as you can. I think we worked it out based on some of the stats we had last week. You want to be getting a kill every 23 seconds.
Wow. And I mean, in a lobby like this, that's nothing easy, right? I mean, look at CK, for example, kind of like heartbreak hell, really. 1 kill, 7 assists, 8 deaths, as we see Millsy. He's just challenging the whole lobby, already 12 kills. I7 in second place with 9 now. You can really start seeing who the heavy hitters are. And as I was just mentioning right there, you've got to feel for CK a little bit. Already 8 assists. But what do the assists mean if you're not even going to, you know, if you're not able to finish them kills? All you're really doing is feeding it to somebody else.
Exactly. I mean, making sure you get those headshots in FFA is so important. Not only because you want to finish your kill and win your 1v1s, you want to kind of zoom in there and steal other people's kills. That's what really pushes you over the edge. So making sure that you're in a good position. I like Suspense's kind of push through mid. He saw the player was weak. Honestly, as I said, 1 kill every 23 seconds. Number of deaths doesn't massively matter. You just want to make sure you're getting into those balls, getting into the fights, because if you can extend your lead far enough away, even having 1 more kill and 10 more deaths than the second place person will still bag you the win at that point.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right. Putting yourself in a bit of a precarious situation sometimes in FFA can really pay off. I mean, it's that mix of knowing when to push. Can you steal a kill? Can you steal 2 kills here? As exactly Percussion proves my point right there. Wait till you see somebody else fight, and maybe it's time to go in for a third party. Pick up 2, and then, you know, you're getting yourself climbing up that leaderboard. But if we take a little look at the leaderboard now, Percussion playing well, snapping up a few kills, but Millsy, 15 already locked in. I7, as we just see on the board right now, already 12 as well. It's going to be hard to catch up to these 2 guys today.
It's gonna be very difficult. Now, one thing okay, that's a little bit suicidal. I don't know quite how that wasn't a stick either, but hey, we roll. Overshield is about to come up. This is where all players' attention is gonna be focused, because that can basically bag you an extra kill if you're safe. Looks like I7's in the best position to grab it. However, the shots do come across from the brick side. He'll still pop it, take a little bit of damage, but he's still got 3/4 of his overshield left up. And if he can get a few of these cleanup kills onto the other players around the map, he could do pretty well. A bit of a misslide there by Perk. He misses his melee. And now it looks like we may go for triple here for I7. A little bit of a delayed triple, but he should still go with that. And he is now caught up pretty damn well with Millsy. Still 3 kills behind, but plenty of room there to catch up. Honestly, this lobby's a lot more stretched out than I was expecting. I was expecting these kills to be a lot tighter. But, you know, these 2 players that we already highlighted in the pre-talk between I7 and Millsy are just tearing up this entire lobby.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, seeing I7 get an overshield like that, playing aggressive and picking up 3 kills, but Millsy's still 4 in the lead. This guy is so hard to catch up with, as we see him now playing with such confidence. The way he just moves around, just able to turn 360 here. Challenge. Look at him. No fear in the eyes as he drops Percussion down on a fight that if you'd have put money on it, you would have took Percussion to win that at the start. And that right there is the confidence of a player who's just not scared to chow and push for anything right now. Don't think he's even really looking out for these other players that are fighting each other. He's just going around the map and just challenging absolutely anything. Millsy, a man on a mission right now.
Yeah, I mean, 9 out of 10 players would have used that thruster to escape that situation when you're down a few shots. But nope, not Millsy. He'll go in for the melee and somehow come out of that with his life. He is now 21 and 8. He has 5 kills above I7. And I reckon, you know, 2 minutes 30 left on the clock with 6 people. If he can break 30 kills, that's going to be pretty amazing. And we saw players just about break 40, but they were in full lobbies of 8, so that we're going a little bit more fast-paced than this. And honestly, he should be just very happy with how he's performing right now. It's worth bearing in mind, when you have players of this caliber, they just have so little fear. They just rarely ever make mistakes, and that's what you're seeing here with Millsy. He just follows through with absolutely everything. And when you're of this level, an FFA tournament like this is a place to really prove yourself. Ooh, Oh, you nearly saw the pop there of the overshield, but it does get dropped as Perk manages to melee and pop it himself. However, he isn't actually making much use of it. He's now had it basically burned after getting 0 kills. Manages to do a bit of a third party there onto Millsy. But he's got a long way to catch up with i7 and Millsy.
Yeah, I mean, i7 is plugging the gap now, only 2 behind, looking to really try and catch up and put this game on its head towards the last 90 seconds as we see Percussion get pulled down here. And I think a lot of the essence usually in free-for-all, you know, and by all reason is always for the top players, but let's say we look at the middle of the pack players. What are they coming in here today to prove? Do you think that a lot of these players are coming in just to kind of test their mettle, see where they stand up, or do you think that they've got something to prove today and they really want to put themselves against the best of the best?
Yeah, and analysing these middle players a little bit, I want to point out CK Sned. Right, now he has only got 9 kills, but he's got 15 assists. And what that kind of tells to me is he's got the positioning down right, he's got the movement down right, he's living a good amount, he's on 18 deaths. But what he's failing to do is actually finish his shots, actually get that accuracy, which is a pretty sad position to be in, but it is a very recoverable position, right? Coming into the second round of this match, we could see, or second match of this round, rather, we could see him reverse that and regain a little bit and end up further up the leaderboard as we combine and collate the scores. But we have, 30 seconds remaining. Thank you there, Jeff Steitzer. And 27 kills for i7, 27 kills for Millsy. They're the 2 players we're going to be focused on right now because they're the 2 that really, really matter for this one. And Overshield is coming up, but not going to make a difference as it's going to spawn after time. We are on board with Tempt and Perk. Neither of those guys care. A little bit of BM coming through. 7 seconds remain. Millsy is up by 1. Can i7 get a kill? He does. He pairs this up. 28 and 28. And that is the end of that match. With 9 assists going to i7. That actually puts him on top there by the end. However, what's important is we do have 2 matches for this map. So we're going to reload back into Aquarius. Reset that clock to 8 minutes. And Millsy's going to have to prove himself, get 1 more kills above i7 if he wants to come at the top. But let's take a look at those stats for a second. Do you want to have a chat through these?
Yeah, I mean, oh God, how did i7 pull that one back, right? Constantly behind. I don't think I saw Millsy come out of the lead for like even 2 seconds of the whole thing until right at the end when we saw i7 level it up to 28 apiece. So obviously Millsy with a few less deaths. i7 we are putting at higher assists, which I believe we're going to be counting as higher in that. And then we spoke a little bit about the middle of the pack, Suspense, Percussion, kind of 18, 17. And like you said, in regards to Sned, you know, keep your head up, 17 assists right there. Not so much about not playing well, but more to do regarding positioning and just finishing your kills so you can get yourself higher up the board.
Yeah, I mean, if he can transition some of those kills across a little bit, it's very possible he can start overtaking the guys that are just above him, so Tempt and Percussion. Definitely possible, and I'd love to see that kind of comeback. Just that's another reason why we do these two matches. It's very easy to snowball in a game, or kind of the reverse snowball. Just get yourself caught in a rut. You think, oh, I'm not getting many kills, I'm not doing this. Then your aim starts to slack a little bit. You're not hitting those headshots. So just take a breather, take a drink, get yourself recovered. Hop back in, smash it. That's what I'm hoping to see from this next one.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how the players are going to fight it out on this next one, especially i7 and Millsy, you know, tied towards the end of the game there. And, you know, just waiting to see how the players would position themselves. But I think another thing that we spoke about a little bit with free-for-all is the mental game, right? You know, like if you start really hot and you go yourself in the lead and then you just see that player in second place just start clawing it back. You know, do you think that's a problem for players playing at this high caliber, or do you think they just, you know, brush it under the carpet another day in the office for them?
Most players, yes. Millsy, no. He's played so many LAN events, so many live events, so many online events. I mean, honestly, he's probably just vibing right now and be like, oh, I'm on top, am I? I think he's going to think coming into this one, he's going to be like, right, I just need to give that little extra 10%, but I don't think it's going to throw him off at all. I think we might just see him perform even stronger, if anything. But as we start off here, Tempt gets himself a perfect spawn near the overshield there. Managed to pop it off before anybody can get anywhere near. Cleans up a kill there on i7. Looks like Millsy was the originator for most of that damage. And he does get a third party onto Millsy and onto CK Sned, putting him straight into the lead with 3 kills. That's already a really decent start for him. The plasma pistol comes out from Perk, trying to strip a little bit of that overshield away. Only a couple shots go in though, and Tempt is still living it up. No, okay, ignore that. Caster's Curse coming out, I guess.
Yeah, Caster Curse is a real thing. Temp with a really good start, and we've got a little bit of a fight going up here. Top mid, Suspense unfortunately goes for the early melee, not cleaning that up as Millsy gets his first of the game. Started off a little bit slower. I think by this point we already saw Millsy with 5 kills and a killing spree last game. As CK now looking to make amends for the assist fest that we had in the last game. Unfortunately not able to get the kill. And now what looks like maybe a little bit of frustration coming in for the player as the leaderboard is still topped by Temp currently.
Yeah, it's sometimes hard to tell because Observer can be a little bit off. But it looked like Sned was just a little bit outside of the player hit reg there, which was why he got a little bit annoyed. He didn't hit the headshot. He really should have been able to clean up that kill. He gets a couple shots into the back of them. But on the board with Millsy as he cracks a killing spree. He is now 5 kills and tied up with Temp. And I'm sure he will continue that lead as he goes forward and actually ends up with a trade. I7 struggling to get on the board right now. 3 points for him. He is now behind most of the other players except from Sned. But we could easily see that turned around. We did see him turn it around in that first round. What I'm interested to see by the end of this is a lot of players like to use FFA as a warm-up for playing before they play into a HCS tournament, which, you know, we have on Sunday. And I expect Millsy will be wanting to kind of prove himself that he can say, yeah, look, I am better than all these people. Maybe these aren't the people I'm going to be facing in HCS, but these are still very competent people. And the fact that I can go this high a scoreboard means, you know, you should recognize me. You should fear me. And going into HCS, that's normally enough just to throw some of your opponents a bit off balance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime these players can prove themselves, they will. As we see the overshield, unfortunately, get burnt by the plasma pistol. Player ending up stuck between a couple as we see CK Sned finally catching up on some kills now. Tempt with a great hot start, still in the lead right now. 9 kills, 7 deaths, playing a really good match here. You know, fights going out top middle. A lot of players now moving between this top middle area as we see I7 and then Millsy also coming in for the trade. So Millsy keeping the pressure on. Spence with 7 behind as well. Tempt currently in the lead, but this one seems a little bit closer to start off with than the last.
Yeah, I do love a nice close game, and you know what I even love more than that? I love that Tempt is keeping up his lead. He is still in charge. He was second to last in the end of last game. And he is now performing at a very decent level. I'm hoping maybe production can do me a solid and just get a screenshot of those last scoreboards so I can refer to it a little bit closer. But I do remember him coming second. A couple kills above Tempt. And if he can keep that off, a nice remote detonation there by Millsy. That's the kind of little extra, I don't know how to frame this. The icing on top of the cake that you see from some of these top skilled players is the thinking in the back of the mind, hey, I shouldn't be shooting the body here. I should be shooting that nade that's on the respawn point. Or I should be shooting that nade that's just dropped off the ground because the player died. And that happens more than you'd think, especially in FFA, as there's so many players around that you do just get grenades littered everywhere. And you tend to see a couple more remote detonations than you would in a normal match. We saw one in the first round. Not sure if we hired it out, but it definitely came around. And I'm loving the positioning there from Perk. Perk playing a bit of around the rosies there with Fridge, just popping himself up and around, which really allows him to get that extra mobility, allows him to avoid that headshot. And if you can just live up and get yourself regened, being able to stay alive between kills rather than going into the respawn screen between kills really adds so much extra advantage to you because you have a little bit more time to make sure that it kind of goes through.
Absolutely. I mean, Millsy just making himself such a hard kill. I think he saw that, but the player picks up the overshield, goes, tries to get away, but unfortunately, Millsy manages to corrupt the entire shield, and the player does go down afterwards. Again, we were speaking about how close these games are, whether it's from remote detonations, as that is some hella movement right there from Millsy. Actually manages to pick up a double and go into the lead for the first time this game. So on our leaderboards right now, Millsy at 16, Tempt at 15, Percussion at 14. It's kind of just at this point a dice throw away on who's going to take this. I7 lagging behind a little bit compared to where he was at last game. But, I mean, with how this game's going so far, you know, 3 minutes on the board, who knows which way it's going.
Yeah, not that much time left to really make much happen. And I feel like the kills we have in a lower kill count this game, which may be something to do with what you mentioned earlier about people being a little bit more cautious, people being more careful this second round. They want to make sure that they can make a difference. Now, what is worth saying is I7... Oh, a nice stick there beyond the grave. I7 still being 5 kills behind Millsy is very effective because we're going to combine the number of kills between both of these rounds. And the fact that they were neck and neck means even just a 1 kill advantage for Millsy over I7 is what really matters. Even if maybe like Perk was able to end up with a kill above Millsy, Millsy would probably still come out top for this match.
Yeah, Millsy must be happy here. Obviously tying with i7 last game. Now on a 4-kill advantage if you put the numbers together. So Millsy definitely happy cruising through this one right here. Put some attention onto CK Sned for a little bit. You know, 6 kills. Again, 11 assists on the board. Second highest assist in the game. So it must be a bit of a tough one for CK in here now. But again, it's good experience coming into this, just learning on how you kind of like sit against the other players. As the overshield, excuse me, is about to pop up. All players going for it now. Overshield being probably the most expendable thing in this particular match for a free-for-all perspective. As CK actually goes through and manages to get the steal. 2 players fighting off here. And Millsy once again just proving why it's such a hard kill to get.
Nice nades coming through from Millsy. Again, this is what really decides an FFA player. It's all about your living. So you see he stayed there, got his full health up. He's doing the movement. He's gonna get a trade on a CK Sned, even though CK Sned had a full overshield. So that should be just a showing of that kind of raw talent that is in that player. And i7 still trying to play catch up. He is on 19 kills. I've seen him with this repulsor so many times. He hits the killing spree and he's doing a pretty decent job of getting kills and staying above. I mean, 15 assists shows you that he's getting the damage on the board, but he's just not able to get the finishes. And that might be because other players are coming along and stealing them from him, just as he did there to Suspense.
Yeah, I mean, the assist conversion is just one of those unfortunate things that if it does come down to a kill race at the end and you both got the same amount of kills, it's great. But at this point, i7's got to catch up with Millsy. It's only 2 kills behind now. Make that 1 as i7 really showing his grit in this game. We go down to the final 40 seconds. And this basically is a mirror of what happened last game. Millsy consistently staying ahead and i7 just clawing it back within the last 60 seconds as you see them now tied up. Millsy, unfortunately, not able to get the kill, which now presents i7 for a potential to win this game.
25 and 25 between i7 and Millsy. What an amazing job by him to catch up. Nice shots from Perk. And it's worth reminding that i7 has a lot more assists than Millsy does. So if they end up neck and neck again, it will be i7 that progresses through as #1 in this tournament. And now he's 1 kill ahead.
Wow.
With 0 seconds remaining.
Wow.
Millsy managing to get another kill actually right at the end there. 27-27. That is a overall tied first place, even combining both maps, which I don't think we saw last week. And assists go to i7.
Crazy. And I find it absolutely even more crazy just how it happened the exact same way again. i7 behind Millsy the entire game, but don't know what happens in that last 60 seconds for him. He just gets this crazy surge, picks up so many kills, and like you said, the assists were there. And as we break down the stats right here, yeah, it says it all really. 27 apiece, but those 16 assists really going to pull out i7 from the top. But let's talk a little bit more about the middle of the pack afterwards as well. Percussion not too far off. Temp we saw have a great start, and unfortunately CK, the problems continue with a high amount of assists, but unfortunately not the kills to match.
No. But we shouldn't count anybody out at this point. I mean, in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring up the scoreboard for our current weeks, because this is going to be important, right? Just before we throw to a quick break. So, if we have a look at our scoreboard that we currently have from week 1 and week 2, I believe Millsy is going to be in a much better position because, and I will verify this, we have Millsy on 42 points from last week. So that would have been a few 1 second place and 2 first places, I believe. And we have i7 as, i7 did not compete in any of the other weeks. So even though i7 won that one overall and will end up with the most points for that round, even if he comes first in every single other round, Millsy's still going to be a higher placing for him going into the FFA finals, which we have on Saturday. So there's a lot of dynamics kind of going on here, but yeah, still a great showing from him, and that comeback at the end of that round was just absolutely insane. But
yeah, I personally love watching free-for-alls. I love watching how these players just compete at the top level against each other. And I mean, with no teammates, like you said, it's a whole different dynamic just going in on your own right and having to have your own 2 feet to stand on. And I think we've shown the resilience from i7 sticking into it. Millsy also showing how much he can hold his own, and why he's also, belongs at the top of the lobby.
Yeah, and I mean, the players that you see at top of HCS, they're not tend to be the same players that you see at the top of FFAs.
Yeah.
And we maybe discuss that a little bit later. But let's go to a quick break now as we get this second lobby going. And then we'll see you guys in a little bit.
Like Berserk, Slays, and Mads, yeah. And so they actually asked me to play, so I got picked up there, and that was my first international event.
What was that? What was that like? Was that like a kind of big milestone you think in your career, like getting that first international event?
Oh yeah, dude, that was sick. I was so excited. I literally, because I got the message at like, dude, it was at DJ hours. It's at like 2 o'clock in the morning or something, and I'm like, holy shit! I get to go over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's a crazy experience. Like it's been what I've been working towards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like winning comps and like getting to finally go. But at this time, ANZ was truthfully, it was fucking dead. It was like really bad, really bad.
And then that was 2018, right? And then I think after that event, that was like, was that Atlanta? Was like that the last official?
That was the last H5. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like late 2018, I guess. I would have loved to have seen you on the EU team, and yeah, as an EU fan, I was kind of hoping like there's so many times. I think even last year there was rumors of like, oh, Barcode is technically he is Serbian, so he could come over. Like, and I was like, oh yeah. And he was like, we need you, but yeah, I mean,
because you don't, because like after. Yeah, that was also a potential thing in Europe. I'm not gonna really go into it because I don't really know what was like the landscape for you guys, so I don't know what people know and stuff like that. Yeah. But that was definitely a potential thing. Once again, me getting denied kind of worried them, but being from another region and playing for an international organization is completely fine. To enter the States, you can do that. You can fucking do that, right?
Yeah.
So there's no problem there.
And then I guess what was the approach then for the obviously the native red team? We saw you got picked up, not that long ago now, or with is it APG, Collect and Mikwin, right? Is a team, and I guess like I said, was that like a thing where was it Mikwin that messaged you again, but like let's get this going again, or I guess what was that feeling like as well to be like that close? You think like giving up on your dream to then suddenly a lifeline gets thrown to you?
Yeah, I mean it was kind of crazy because. I don't know how I want to get into this because so APG was streaming.
Okay.
He was doing his press conference.
Oh
thing. Yeah. He was talking about it, and shit went down in that very stream. And coincidentally enough, so because. Like, when I got released, Native were still working on my visa. That was their promise to me. They said they're going to keep working on it. They're going to get me one. So I have an easier process getting back, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But then what ended up happening was I got a message that very morning before the stream went live about a potential team actually hitting me up to play with them, right? I'm not going to say what team it is. I'm not going to say who it was, obviously, but I was literally in a business call with them about getting signed with them and then coming over and playing with them. Obviously, there was like, it wasn't set. It wasn't set at all. Like, they would have had to ask if like that was something viable and doable, which I'm pretty certain it would have been. Okay. But the offer, was okay. It was still like, my thought process at this time was whatever it takes to get back. I need to get my foot back in the door.
Okay, thanks again, guys. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Captain James Force. I am here with the awesome Tudor, and this is the UHL Spring Series 2023.
So the oddball is in their vicinity. They're pushing up over the C stairs.
Oh, they're stacked up.
Double kill.
I'm not getting away with life. Yeah, I guess the stick.
Enemy has the ball. Ball dropped.
M41 Spanker. Inbound. M41 Spanker. Available.
side. What's it been like integrating Chick into this team? Obviously, you had quite a comfortable thing going with Snapdragon and everything on there. What's the transition been like? Because yeah, they play similar, but yes, they don't at the same time. What's it been like bringing him in?
Yeah, it's been a really fun transition. Obviously, there were some growing pains when like we first brought him in because you never know how. I mean, I myself, I think I've spoken to Seb maybe like once or twice prior to him joining the team. So like, you never know how he wants to play. You never even know like how well he can speak English, like how quickly he can pick up like the terms that we use in the game. But like we clicked pretty fast. But then it was just about ironing out like what game plans we want to put into place, and that took a little bit of time. Quadrant definitely hit the ground running with their new roster, but we're getting there. Seb is incredibly vocal. So what we lost in Mike, we gained similarly with Seb, and then we also gained a lot more communication, which has kind of taken the onus off of Jim a little bit. Allows him to focus on his own gameplay, which, as you've seen in that last grand final and the reset, it's helping us all around. So yeah, we're pretty happy with Seb.
It's quite interesting you say that in terms of the language barrier, because could you imagine him around me with my terminology in English? It'll be...
Hey, I can't understand that. I mean, I don't
really
know.
understood you this card.
I don't know what he would say.
He probably wouldn't say anything. He'll be like, what's this bloke on about? Well, what I wanted to say, I want to ask you some of the major changes we witnessed from the upper bracket final going into the grand finals. Now, obviously, there must have been something in particular which just switched on for you guys. It seemed a bit odd how you guys were coordinating not as well as you should be. I kind of felt like the synergy was there, but you guys were just not really on the same wavelength. The spawn cycles were a bit out of place. What changed? What was the 2 or 3 biggest changes you noticed from the upper bracket final going to the grand final, making such a huge leap? Because we saw players like Jimbo going from average to slaying out of his skull. We saw Mighty making some godlike rotations, and of course Chick and Whittam just supporting really well. But is there like maybe 2 or 3 big changes you witnessed which kind of solidified that grand final victory?
Yeah, we don't really like winning from winners bracket, so we lost on purpose. And then well, I would say the biggest changes I saw. I mean, obviously, the ideal is you win from winners, and then you make it easy. You get an early dinner, and then you're able to go to bed at a reasonable time. But the big differences I saw were, and we spoke about this, mainly trust in the calls. Like, if everyone has an idea of how things are going to go, and they're all different ideas, then it's very difficult to assert your will on the map. The other thing we really worked on was staying alive. Like, Quadrant are so aggressive, but the way they play is actually taking 1v1s. Like, they back their individual skill, which is great when you take the 1v1s. But if you deny them those 1v1s and they're not able to trade, they are less effective. So we kind of spoke about that. Also, the game types in the winners finals were not great. We're going to be working on those for Arlington, but yeah, definitely suited us a little bit more in the grand finals. So got a little bit squeaky. We kind of let ourselves down, I think, on the recharge strongholds. We definitely have performed better than that on that game type in the past against them. But the Game 5 ice, you can't buy that, boys. You can't buy Game 5 ice.
Love a
It's
Game
in the
5,
veins.
mate. You know me. No, choose your thoughts, because I find it very interesting, especially from your perspective, like being the coach of Foe, and just I love to see your insight, because you are their 5th player at the end of the day. You're the one who's strutting your stuff, doing the research, the preparation, the timings, everything included. So, and you're going to be the person to really dig out these exploits and weaknesses. But Hop, have you got another question? I
mean, at this moment in time, there's not too much. What's going through my mind is, when's my McDonald's going to arrive? But I mean, at the end of the day, how you guys have proved yourselves as rightfully so that number 1 seed in Europe, and there was obviously, I think, a lot of people kind of doubted, and not rightly so, but doubted your ability in dethroning Quadrant due to how dominant they've been for so long. But the question now is, going into Arlington, where do you see yourself guys placing? Where do you see you guys stacking up against the powerhouses which are over in NA?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's definitely a good question. I said to the boys, last thing I said before I joined the Discord to then, come on the stream was, if we play, 5% as well as we did just then in Arlington, like we'll place really, really well. The goal is to be challenging for grand finals by the end of the year, where obviously the big money is, Halo World Championships. You want to be in with a shot of coming home with a ring. And if we're not aiming for that ultimately, then what's the point in doing this? But as a first event as a team, it's probably unrealistic to expect that. I would say at least top 6 minimum. Some of the North American rosters right now seem a little bit susceptible, but the individual talent in North America and their quality of practice is just far superior to Europeans. So yeah, we're going to be aiming for top 6 minimum, and then hopefully, we can allow our quality of practice and, allow the reps against the North American teams that we get in the tournament in Arlington in pool play to carry us through the bracket play and maybe push top 4. We'll see.
Is that a potential boot camp? Getting over
we
there,
got invited.
reps.
We got invited to a boot camp. Sadly, because of the lack of organizations we're able to talk to at this moment in time, it's probably unlikely we're going to be able to boot camp before Arlington. I think.
Welcome back, everybody. We are back here now for round 2 of the EHL x VUELTA FFA Week 3. A bit of a mouthful there, Stallion. How are you feeling after that first match?
Oh, I feel good. I want to see more. I'm not going to lie. Like, I love watching the players go at it in free-for-all environments. I love seeing how players adapt to, again, not having teammates and how they can stand on their own 2 feet, just to look at the way that they position themselves, the way that they play, how they can claw back kills and, try and transition some of those assists actually into kills. So definitely looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, well, let's have a little bit of a look at the other lobbies we had going. A few more scores so we can kind of get them kind of mentioned. So hopefully we'll see some of these players. I'm not quite sure what lobby we're going to be watching here for round 2. But we had a lobby here that had Niso, Delulu, Icon, Ashen Reese being Wok and Angel. Kind of shocking, this one. This did not go the way I expected. So Niso came out on top with 25 points in the first round. He then came out 5th with 16 points. So a real shift there. Delulu, I think, came out on top overall in that matchup. He came 24 and then 25 in the next round. A little bit of a regain from Ash and Reese as well, which was good to see from him. Then in our other matchup, we had Aaron, Pitbull, Drax, P, and Phil English. Round 1, Aaron came out on top of that with 24 kills. And then in match 2 of that round, we had Drax on top with 22, but Aaron coming just behind with 21, so he ends up taking top of that lobby as well. So quite an interesting little exchange there between some of those players, so I hope we get to see kind of some of them mix into this next one. But as we move into it, we're going to be moving on to live fire. Ooh. Anything you expect to see from an FFA on live fire here, Stallion?
Oh, well, I mean, top tower, top nest, any of the kind of the higher elevation part of the map really might be the hot contested areas. But like it just was on Aquarius, right? If you're going to hold top mid or into an area with a bit higher elevation, all eyes are probably on you as, everybody tries to fight to take there. So I'd be curious to see who moves around kind of like bottom middle as well. Players that try to play flank routes, especially if they hear gunfire on the other side of the wall to where they are. And I mean, we just saw it in the last game, right? How key it is to be that third party and pick up kills wherever you can.
Yeah, indeed. I think every time we're going to be watching Group 1. So we do have one of the returning players from the last match that we saw excel himself. So we're going to be watching I7 again, which is going to be quite nice. We're going to have Aaron, who was top of his group. Ashen Reese, who came 3rd in their group. Niso, who came 4th behind Ashen Reese. Being, who came 5th as well. And then Angel, who came 6th. So quite a nice spread of players there. I think it's going to be seeing how Aaron and I7 kind of go against each other. So both of them came top of their groups, but I get the impression that the group we watched last time was probably the top, like the highest group out of the 3 that we had going. So I reckon I7's going to have a pretty comfortable time taking this lobby, but you never know. I'd love to see an upset, and it should be quite exciting. I think live fire is definitely going to be a different beast. That the spawn over net over shield is just a death sentence. Obviously, it's camo now in this iteration of the map, so camo is going to be very effective. If anything, camo is kind of more effective in an FFA than anything else. The sniper is going to be a game changer as well, just because the problem in FFA is you normally die after you've killed somebody because you end up having a little bit of an exchange. You win the exchange, but you're so weak that anybody else you run into is just going to kill you. But if you have a sniper and you're popping heads, you know, it's completely different.
Yeah, I mean, picking up the sniper and then having that control over to the camo as well, right? Knowing that it's going to be such a high contested area is going to be an interesting one. I'm curious to see the amount of backwhacks we could see this game as well, right? Particularly if we do see anybody with a sniper moving towards that top tower area. So just out of curiosity to anyone who does go for the sniper this game, very curious to see how they play it and where they position themselves and where they look to angle to I guess, know where the players are going to take the fights and hopefully not have anybody come and smack them in the back and steal off them.
One thing I noticed actually watching this is there's a few equipment dropped on the map. Now, I'm gonna kind of quiz you here a little bit. What equipment do you reckon is the most effective here in an FFA on live fire?
Oh, we're not talking like weapons here. We're talking just like camo,
yeah. So you got camo, you got repulsor, and you got quantum translocator.
Oh, I mean, all three of them have their uses. I think on a map like this, quantum, the translocator is obviously going to be really important, especially if you can see where multiple players are pushing in the areas to maybe get behind several people and turn the fight on its head. But then the repulsor, I mean, we've seen what the pro players can do, getting from bottom to top tower. So that elevation shift could put you in a different position to really pick off other people. And then, you know, like you said, camo is going to be a blood pit trying to figure out who's trying to get it, or if a player does get it and then goes down with it. So I'm sure the players are going to have to keep an eye out. Very curious to see the mental of the players when they know that camo's been popped, to wonder where that player has gone and see how their playstyle shifts from there.
Yeah, I think honestly you just got to not worry about it and just try and grab what you can.
Yeah.
Just protect, like, it's gone. Okay, it's gone. I need to focus on getting kills. Momentum is everything in FFAs. Now, it's a little bit of a trick question when I was asking you that, because I obviously have the knowledge of what happened last week and the week before. Yeah. But in FFA, the repulsor was actually surprisingly effective. Now, it's because I think you kind of signaled people might be trying to sit around that tower side, get a sniper, get themselves up there. Just being able to shove people off the map. It's just an easy kill, right? And if you're constantly getting players that are spawning over by dummies and then you kind of draw them out towards back tower, you can just push them off the map. You can sit on top tower and push people off. You can do 1,000,001 things. You can drop down off C-plat, make someone chase you and then push them off. And because you are always got an enemy basically in front of you, it just makes it so much easier. Now the QT, I thought going into week 1 it was going to be not very effective. Just because of the fact that there's enough people wanting to get, as we said, about a kill every 20-ish seconds. QT, if someone's going to teleport back, they're going to be weak. They're likely going to teleport back because they're likely going to get into a fight. So just sitting by that receiver node of the QT is such a strong position and such a strong power play to do. Because you're basically guaranteed a kill. You're going to be sitting there for less than the 20 seconds you want to get a kill. And you know exactly where a player's going to appear. So it just is such a powerful thing to do. It basically makes the QT irrelevant on this style of map. Because getting behind another player normally doesn't help because you've just QT'd into another player that's already spawned there and already running about because everybody is so spread out in an FFA. It could play out differently with these players, but that was just my opinion / what I saw coming into week 1 and week 2 of this.
I really want to see a player get a kill, QT, and then get repulsed off the map. Hopefully that makes any kind of montage content that we can. So, to the players playing in this, if you're listening, please make that happen. Make sure you're not the one getting repulsed off the map. But yeah, let's see if Caster Curse is a real thing and we get something like that in this game. I'm sure the chat wants to see it as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was definitely going to come in. It's definitely going to happen now. You've willed it into existence. Yeah. So the lobby's filling up quite nicely, but as we wait for that, let's maybe move on to some other discussions. So I think one thing we didn't mention earlier about the upcoming changes to the game is we have plasma pistols coming into the game again as a anti-vehicle weapon. So obviously they've always been in the game. They're not gone anywhere, but they're getting their EMP ability back. Yeah.
I think that's a welcome addition. As somebody who plays a fair amount of squad battle, vehicles are rampant. They're annoying. I kind of wish we had something like squad battle without vehicles personally, but it's nice to see a little bit more of a countermeasure against them, particularly against that Banshee player who always seems to get it and is almost impossible to kill, no matter how many rockets and bullets you put into them. So I've heard that the EMP is only really effective from like close-ish range. I don't know what they've done to the range of it or if they've nerfed it or anything like that, but I mean, just to have that as an option so you can play corners if you see, you know, like a hog coming or a ghost, particularly ghost players I find really annoying. So for me, that's a welcome addition.
Yeah, I'm going to play devil's advocate and I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel like going into squad battle, vehicles... I mean, squad battle is traditional BTB for Halo, right? It used to be 8 players. It's only an Infinite that you go up to 12. And weapons just feel like they're made of paper mache whenever I play. Like, tanks seem to die instantly. Banshees, you seem to just accidentally bump a wall and they decide they want to blow up. And they're almost unusable. And I think this probably comes from you being such a competent player yourself. You just like to run around with a gun and kill everybody, and you probably do pretty well at that. Whereas me, I like the safety of a big armoured tank to keep me from dying so quickly. And I just don't really see the need of adding it in. Obviously, it's classic and it's traditional. The plasma pistol was always a vehicle stunning weapon. And I think maybe the reason they brought it in is because people didn't like picking up the disruptor because it wasn't very effective against people, so they didn't really keep it. Whereas the plasma pistol was kind of effective against both. And the shock rifle, people don't want to waste like 6 bullets of a shock rifle on stunning a vehicle when you can get one shot and kill a player with it. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, interested to see what chat's opinion is. I mean, so someone was already saying in chat, right? Actually makes me want to pick up the plasma line. So yeah, I mean, it's a change that I don't think is really going to affect the game that much, but we can see how it plays out in the long form. And if you're going to be playing some squad battle, I'm sure the next time we chat, you'll have a more informed opinion on that as they actually bring it into the game. But let's get into our fly-through as we are getting now ready for our FFA Slayer. And we have 6 people in this lobby this time. I7, Aaron, Ashen Reese, Niso, Being, and Angel.
Oh, I mean, 6 people. I mean, with the, you know, with the spacing of the map, with, you know, the equipment that we said, sniper, we have the QT, we have, I believe you said it was camo for free-for-all here. That's half the lobby in a potential power position, ready to go almost at all times. So really curious to see how all players play this. Particularly, my eyes are on I7 from that last performance. Anybody who you're looking at in particular for this one, Reed?
My eyes are locked on to I7 and Aaron. 2 reasons. I7 because he's a beast. And Aaron because he seems to be doing very, very well, and I've not really seen him play too much. So, you know, I like to see top talent that comes not out of nowhere, because I know he is a competent Halo player that's been around for a while, but he's pretty new to me. I haven't cast him too many times. But we're on board with Angel, as Angel attempted to grab the sniper. Being is locked into this top tower position, tries to drop down to save himself. Not quite able to do that, as Aaron on the camo will pick him up. The sniper, I believe, is still on point. Oh, a little bit of a premature shot there from the camo, but luckily he actually gets his bacon saved by I7, who manages to take down the person that he was chasing, thanks to a perfect little melee. The back smack comes through, and there's 2 kills that Aaron has secured now just because he has the camo, proving just quite how effective this bit of equipment is.
Yeah, I mean, what did we say, right? Recast a curse. You know, back smack top tower. We only had to wait like 1 minute for it. You love to see it as I7 going out to a little bit of a lead. All power weapons have currently had their first cycle now, so we'll see the players kind of leveling off a little bit, just having some bandit fights around the map as we're on board right now with Angel. I believe when casting Niso a second ago, Niso is a mouse and keyboard player, as well as potentially Ash and Reese here. So correct me if I'm wrong, but good to see an avenue of talent between not just controller but also M and K, as we see I7 banking off that beautiful nade.
Yeah, Ashen Reese is not a player to be slept on. He is an avid member of the I Spiteful crew, as I'm going to put them. I often am conversing with him in his Twitch chat. He is a very competent player who I have had the misfortune of being up against in several different occasions. Not quite in a 1v1, or maybe we did one. I might have 1v1'd him, being an M&K player myself as well. But yeah, I'd like to see them perform very well in this. I mean, M&K actually adds a little bit more of an advantage for FFA than it does for just a traditional 4v4, based on how much you have to have your head on a pivot and a swivel, right? You're shooting one guy and suddenly there's someone behind you. If you can turn quicker, which you can do on M&K, that just gives you such an advantage. Nice use of the QT there by Being, keeping himself alive.
Being still alive here. I don't know how he's doing. He's played that QT position really, really, really well. You know, already 9 kills on the board. I7 with 8, Ash and Reese on 7. And like you said, playing that mouse and keyboard position, I think really helps to just be able to swivel and pivot and just kind of make it look like you're locking onto these different players as being just kind of being the roamer, running around the lobby, cleaning up kills where possible. Now on a killing spree. Not a player that I've had too much experience in casting before, but, you know, looking to really make a message here as is currently tied on the board right now with I7 just taking the lead with 11 kills.
Yeah, now I'd love to see a little bit of sniper action here. We haven't actually seen a player's first-person cam with it, so let's get on board with Aaron as he's playing a little bit of a catch-up game here to I7 as he is 2 kills behind. He manages to hit the shot, realizes he is not going to finish that fight, so he decides to throw the sniper off the map instead. Probably a pretty wise move, but Being has surprised me a little bit. So Being is a player I'm quite familiar with. He plays in my university league. And I've had the fortune of playing with him on several occasions. He is sitting up here with 11 kills, not too far behind I7, but it seems like his positioning is what's really winning him over this one. He manages to get himself up into the top tower right early on and kills several people going for the sniper. Manages to grab the QT and use that to great effect, completely getting rid of what I was saying about it being a not very useful weapon. And as we can see here, it looks like the sniper wasn't actually thrown off the map by Aaron. It might have kind of landed a little bit back on the side as he tried to throw it off. So we've seen a few kills come through of it so far.
Yeah, and we spoke about mouse and keyboard players, right, and showing their effectiveness with not only the bandit, but now with the snipers. Nisa holding this top position that we spoke about pre-game, just, you know, keeping an eye out, seeing who's roaming around the map, picking off players at nest where possible. Does get a little bit of unfortunate time in there as a player pushes nest the moment he looks away, and now also sees a player pushing his stairs, so gonna look to try and get that trade there. Almost doesn't get the hit. Angel does fit it, does miss the smack. Tries to go for a kill that unfortunately shot in the back at the same time there. I7 looking comfortable with 16 kills. Angel unfortunately struggling a little bit right now, only with 3. And we're seeing Aaron Being really look to pick up their position now to try and keep up with I7, but he's showing a fantastic start to this free-for-all game.
Yeah, I love that little piece of action we saw there from I7. So he shot one player up in back green. He then did a lot of damage to a player that came... Oh, a little bit of a back smack. Conga line going on there. We saw him get quite a lot of damage to a player that then dropped into toilet or bottom B, whatever you want to call it. But he didn't pursue that player. He knew that he was unlikely to get that kill, so he then focused on the player that was behind him, advancing. And just that thought process of knowing when to switch between people and not to focus on one person for so long is what really allows you to stand out and get those little bit of extra kills on the board that you kind of need to excel. Now, looking at the board, we have Being and Ash and Reese both on 16 kills, but I7 is storming ahead currently on 22 kills, solidifying himself well in this placement right now.
Yeah, and I mean, just watching what I7 did against the camo player, we spoke about the effectiveness of the repulsor. Camo player was on the ledge in front of him, but he does actually use the repulsor to push them up in the air, which means that he was able to get some clean headshots and finish the kill. And you're absolutely right. Talking about being comfortable in your first place position, 25 kills with the next being 16. So a little bit of a skill gap showing now with 2 minutes left to go. Sniper now appearing onto the map. Being looking to get this. We saw what Being could do. Going to go on to the POV now as they look to line up the headshot. Unfortunately, not able to get it. Tries to line up again. Does get taken out now. And yeah, the person that you probably don't want to see with a sniper if you're anyone else in the lobby, apart from I7 now, definitely has it.
The man of the hour. He connects with Angel's back, but doesn't quite get the shot. He hits a quick scope there onto a player in bottom mid, but Niso does end up getting the kill on Being, so Being ends up going down anyway. Niso now probably has the sniper in hand. Oh, sorry, my correction. Aaron is the one with the sniper in hand, but isn't quite able to make any connections with it. Being slides himself out of garage, somehow wins that piv back green. I7 will get the cleanup though and maintain his lead on 28 kills.
Yeah, what a game we're having here as we go down to our final minute. I think it's fair to say I7 looking to wrap this game up. Middle of the leaderboard, packed though between 19, 17 and 18. 4 players all fighting for that second place. Obviously, we mentioned about Angel, unfortunately, lagging a little bit behind as I7 looking to establish this game here. We see Aaron trying to get that second place cemented in. Does get one, unfortunately, traded out now. Aaron currently in second place with 20 kills, but Niso looking to get right behind I7 with an unfortunate position there. I think was also shot by another player, traded out. Last 40 seconds left. Who do we think is going to be locking down the second place?
It's anybody's game at this point. I mean, Niso and Aaron are the favourites with 20 and 20, but Being and Ash could easily make up this gap. i7 cleaning up a couple more kills there, giving himself a bigger lead he doesn't even need. Nice little push in there. Being trying to get a cleanup kill to push himself ahead, but i7 stole that one from him. We are now 18, 19, 20, and 21 with 15 seconds to go. Every single kill matters now for these guys. i7 drops a nade, and this is not who Aaron wants to see against the board. Niso still in the lead, but he goes down. Being, he is alive. Can he get another kill here onto Angel? He doesn't quite manage it. Angel, bottom of the leaderboard, actually gets the kill, but he dies right at the end, which means Being, Aaron both on 20, Niso on 21, Ash on 19. So we're going to be looking at assists between those two guys to make sure we work out who solidifies third place. But I believe Aaron was just ahead with maybe 8 assists to Being's 6.
Yeah, I mean, what a cracking fight, and I think the leaderboard says it all. I was getting more invested on who was going to get that second place read. I don't know about you. I mean, we saw i7 take an early lead and never really looked back. 31 kills, 11 assists, almost topping the leaderboard on assists as well. 7,000 damage dealt is absolutely ridiculous, putting shots on everybody across the map. Niso, of course, stealing it at the end in the second place, and then Being, Aaron, and Ash and Reese almost tied exactly on damage dealt. That middle of the pack fight is a very interesting one. I'm looking forward to seeing who's going to pull out on the next one.
Right. Oh, I just don't know. I just don't know where to go from here. i7's doing pretty damn well for himself, right? I think it's going to be an interesting next match in this round. So we're going to be loading back up into live fire. These players are going to kind of reset. I think Being, we might see do a very similar start to what we saw this time. It worked very well for him getting that top tower position. It obviously depends on where he spawns. He might not spawn in a position favourable for that, but if he can get himself over there, that would be very, very effective because he can then lock down that sniper. And honestly, what's the sniper if you can get 3 kills on people trying to steal it, right? You're probably not going to end up with 3 kills if you even grab it.
Amen.
So, yeah, I think we're just going to wait for a player just to reset their game here while we get this all prepped and going. But anything you saw that you might want to see repeated this match? Maybe a couple players doing some very sneaky plays?
Yeah, do you know what? I felt like Camo played a little bit of value, but not as much as I would have hoped. I felt like a lot of early shots went off with the Camo. I think, if anything, not sure if it was just like a POV kind of like caster curse thing that we were speaking about, but every time I saw the Camo player, unfortunately, they were getting killed not long after popping it or picking it up. It is, again, in one of those areas, like, as a player with Camo, how do you know when to pop the shot? It's not like you're playing in a 4v4 scenario. You're playing against everybody on the map, so that first shot to reveal yourself is vital, because you may have a player standing, you know, on the other side of whether it's tower or whatever, who's not even looking at you, but then sees you appear, then unfortunately, you know, you're going to be in their scope.
Yeah, exactly, right. I was impressed by Being's use of the QT early on in that game. I didn't see him get another effective use of it later on. Maybe he did, but we weren't paying attention to him. But he managed to get at least 2, maybe 3 kills from what I could tell, just by using that QT effectively. And what I predicted, where a player would be sitting on the other side, didn't happen. So maybe Being got away with it for a little bit. Being said in chat, he sat next to the QT waiting for it to come back, and they never came back. Like a lost puppy, he was left round back green, and his parents never came to pick him up from the forest. I'm glad he took my advice, though.
A person of the people, right? Wanted to make what we said happen. We wanted to see the repulsor off the map from the QT. So, you know, free-for-all contestants, if you can still hear us, we're very much wanting to see that happen. So shout out to Being for attempting that for us.
Yeah, and you were in lead. You were in the lead for the beginning of that. I mean, I understand fighting against someone like i7 is a bit of an uphill battle, but you still came up. You know, you were up there. And remember, the first round doesn't necessarily matter that much. If you can excel in this next match, you can boost yourself up there and grab the lead. And it's this next match is really going to differentiate those guys. And I'm going to be honest, it's going to be a very steep hill for Angel to climb. But we'll see if he can do it.
Cool. Look forward to seeing it. I mean, we've spoken a lot about i7 in these last few series, right? What we class still as the rookie coming into the game, had a great performance on his team series that we were casting at the weekend. Somebody really to watch out for. Is it usual, Reed, to see a player of such a rookie caliber just come in and just storm these free-for-all tournaments like this? Because I know you said sometimes who you see dominating in 4v4 isn't always the case in free-for-all.
Yeah, so I think I kind of predicted that i7 was going to be a really strong player just because he is quite a solo player in terms of doing 4v4s. You see him, I see him playing MM just by himself or with his brother and stuff like that, rather than being like a quadrant or a foe that just play in their kind of duos partners. And he kind of excelled, right? He excelled in FFA and that was proven. And someone like Being, I know is incredibly strong of a player, but I didn't predict them doing very well coming into this, and full credit to you, Being. You did a great job, but you've got more to prove. If you wanna grab that second spot, you just got a few more kills to get in this next matchup. I must say I maybe expected a little bit more from Aaron just based on how he performed in the first round. Because if I remind myself from looking at the score reports. He had 24 and 14, which was top of the first match of Aquarius they played. And in the second match of Aquarius, he was second place with 21 and 16. So I was expecting maybe a little bit higher coming into this, but it's a different map, right? And there's a lot more of a dynamic on live fire than there is on something like Aquarius because there's more power weapons and more kind of sandbox elements just to switch that around and elevate it. So yeah, hopefully we'll be getting into the match soon and we can have a look at how they get on.
Yeah, I mean, you spoke about dynamics, right? Not just the dynamic of the map and the people playing, but what about, the actual dynamic of the, the people that you're going against, how you perform. I think you said about it at the start of this game in a previous free-for-all might not be the way you perform in the next one, not purely just because of, the level, but also just the way that people play. So whether it might be something to do with how our players, take certain routes, how they might have more aggressive or passive play styles, again, might come into it. And, with Aaron having one of the games under his belt now, I'd be curious to see how he performs in the second one.
Yeah, one thing I want to see from players is an evolution on the first time around. So it kind of looked like people were just grabbing positions they thought would work without actually working out if they did work. Because not all these players played in other weeks. So i7, for example, didn't play in other weeks. He did well enough, I guess, in the first round of this. But I expect to see them having learned from that last matchup and have a better position or a better idea of good positioning on this map for an FFA. And we may see just a slightly different score based on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious to see who's going to do what. And I mean, it happened in the last game when we were watching at Aquarius, the detonation kills, right? We're seeing more equipment landing on the floor, more grenades kind of like flying around. Should we have a prediction on how many detonation kills we're going to see this game, if we saw already in the last one?
Oh, I reckon, on screen right now, you can see those nades that you have yourself on top A plat. I reckon you could probably use those for a detonation kill. You could maybe catch somebody on B plat with the plasmas. Perfect, right in front of me. So we could see one or two. What I was upset we didn't see any mind the gaps. We didn't see anybody use the repulsor to get a kill.
Yeah, let's see how the players look to lock it up this time as we go straight into Niso with the QT on the board. And looking to get that early chow. Angel already with a great chow coming in, looking to make amends for that last game as we see our players kind of go off the board here and get into some early fights, some trades going out. Camo coming up soon. Sniper in the hands of Being, you said, somebody that you wanted to see pop off. And already Repulsor sniper in hand. Let's see what Being can do with the camo just coming up now.
Camo is up. i7's trying to go for it. Being has the sniper. He hits the connection, drops him completely. Being looked like he had wall hacks there as he zoomed onto Ash and Reach, but I'm sure that was just luck. i7 outplays Being, totally grabbed himself the sniper for himself, but misses the shot on Aaron. Aaron gets through that. Not quite sure where Camo has gone. It would have been dropped. It didn't look like i7 would have had enough time to have actually popped it before he died. So maybe we see a player come around with that in a second.
And just as you say that, Niso coming from the depths of the dark in camo, roaming around the map right now. Already 2 kills. Sees the player right above him. The player doesn't spot him, gets the smack. Unfortunately, does take a hit back, and because of that, Aaron is able to get that kill. So again, we talk about camo timings, knowing when to peek and when to not. Unfortunate timing there when, just know when the right time is to actually engage. And, you know, we spoke about i7, we spoke about Aaron being a close fight, and we're definitely getting that at the start of this game. 5 kills apiece.
Loving the movement here from i7. He is just playing his life. I'm not sure I completely love the attempt at dropping down there. I maybe would have stayed top tower if I was him, but it looked like he was doing good living to start off with. But a pretty even across the board. Angel lagging behind, and Ash and Reese lagging behind a tad as well. But, you know, we're still early days. We can see where this goes. I'm liking the fact that players are keeping up with i7 for now. We are going to have another round of camo coming up in 30 seconds. Oh, I thought Angel saw i7 there, but apparently not. We now see the QT in the hands of Aaron. Will he be able to fulfill our destiny? Not quite yet, but, you know, there's still time. He does see a rogue being there fly past him. And i7 was, Niso was sitting there waiting for him to return, and it goes well. Angel might want to up his field of view a little.
I think we must have seen about 5 back smacks during these first 2 games so far. I love it. The amount of people that are getting smacked in the back is always great to watch from a, you know, a caster's point of view. We do see Aaron now with that the dreaded camo, as I like to call it, because it seems to cause more problems than it's worth. And the player does get, does kind of almost a back smack then. Unfortunately, that's going to trade an Angel. That's him in the dirt. That would have been a big potential there. And the camo once again, unfortunately, showing more hassle than it's worth. Like you said about it being a bit of a closer game, I like to call i7 the mid to late game brawler, and that's when he seems to come alive, because right now Niso holding the lead with 10 kills.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with Niso. You kind of pointed about as a keyboard and mouse player, but I haven't really seen him play too much, and he's, you know, he's keeping up with all these guys. He's continuing the brawl, and I'd love to see him kind of edge out a second place here, because that would be a little bit of an upset compared to some of these long-standing EU legends that we've got in this lobby right now. But we are on the board with an EU legend right now, i7, who's keeping it up. He is on the chase, or being chased rather, by Ash. Ash doesn't quite make the connection, but the i7 machine now has the sniper in hand. He misses the connection. Niso managing to jump over that second shot. Lives up and takes a nice little lead here with 11 kills and 1 assist to i7's 11 kills and 0 assists.
Yeah, and the thing that I love watching in regards to i7, I know we've been on POV quite a lot, and looking at the difference between a great player and an incredible player is just how they know how to play certain situations when they have the sniper in hand, or when they know when to take that extra step backwards to avoid a melee hit, where they don't need to chow and, you know, maybe potentially look to be less aggressive so that they can get a couple more bandit shots then before going for the melees. We've seen Ash and Reese making this nice rotation around the back of green. We do see the quantum there. Ash now playing clean up. Does see 2, make it 3. Give us the overkill. We're all dying to see it. Angel unfortunately just hides away, and the other player is taken out, but nice 3-piece there. We do get the overkill, but unfortunately it is delayed and there's no medal for it. So Ash and Reese really putting on a show now, and actually going tied with i7 on 11 kills.
Yeah, good little catch up there for Ash. Now, one thing I noticed was you could really see his M&K abilities coming out there. The way that he was able to navigate over the top of screens to avoid i7 below him. The way that he was able to flick across to the player that was dropping into toilet. Just pure dopamine straight into my veins. It's like watching Wooten play in a HS tournament. It's just so much more fun and so much more fluid. But Niso, good living up here, will actually get his shields back. Still in the lead with 14 kills. He sees the nade, he knows there must be a player sitting up there in nest and a player that threw it down in mud, but he is waiting to search that player. But Being decides he is not long for this world and just falls off the map instead. So, you know, good job Being, and that was caught on camera.
Being just decided he doesn't want to be on this map anymore. As I'm very curious now as we go to the last 2 minutes of the game, if i7 is going to be the mid to late game brawler that we have seen the last 3 matches before this. Does finally go into the lead now, but I think it's fair to say, we're having a much closer game than probably what we've casted over the last 3. Of course, the first 2 on Aquarius, and now on here as Aaron goes in for the trade. 2 players on 14, 1 on 17 and 13, and i7 now, as I say it, the caster influence continues. 17 kills, finally pulling out to a little bit of a lead. Sniper's up, and he's putting some damage down. Is this the time where we finally see him take off as he always does?
Yeah, and if my math is correct, Niso and Aaron were both... Oh, actually, I will double check that in a second. But we need to work out which players are really the ones that matter about these kills, because i7 is very unlikely to drop his lead here overall for this match. But what is worth saying is Angel is doing a really good job of continuing past this and getting himself, you know, to a much more balanced KD than he had in that round 1. I think he ended up with 5 kills at the end of that one. He's already at double that, and we've still got a minute and 20 seconds left on the clock, and a nice little snipe there we saw.
Yeah, Niso ripping heads. We haven't seen too many crazy snipes this game. I would have expected to see a bit more flashy plays from some of the players here, particularly on free-for-all flexing the muscles, but it comes down to not really having the time and pressure because you're always getting shot at from every angle. As Aaron proving that theory correct, shooting, I believe it was Niso in the back taking him out. I7 now still on 22. We do have a decisive camo coming up in 20 seconds, which could play a pivotal role in this game. Very curious to see who's going to take the second place, as I7 now not only wanting to dominate the sniper, but also holding this camo position.
Yeah, being able to catch up with Niso, he's now on 17 kills. Make that 18. If he's able to maintain this lead, that will be a firm second place for him. A nice waste there of the... Ooh. Yeah, a nice waste there of the repulsor, but he's a little bit too bullish there with the camo and gets pinched in either side by the guy on window and the guy bottom tower. But he is still on a firm 18 kills. These are on 19 though. He's catching up fast. We could see something happen here in the last 4 seconds, but with Nita the last player up, if he can win this fight against, or if Ash can win that fight against I7, that will put him on 18 match neck and neck with Being. So I'm going to have to run a few little stats here, but trying to work out who came out on top there. I think we're going to have a very close second, third and fourth.
Yeah, that, like I said, the middle of the pack was more interested on who was gonna than who was actually gonna win it, right? I7 again running away with it at the end there. 23 kills, as you can see by the stat line showing now. 19 and 19 coming in from Nisa. A lot of deaths coming in from the middle of the pack, but like you said, as long as the kills come in, that's all that matters, right? Because then it's waiting on a kills followed by assists. So we'll have to do the maths for you, ladies and gentlemen, find out where we're at with the second and third place. As Niso, Ash and Reese being and Aaron basically almost all square from second to fifth place.
Yeah, now going into a match 3, I want to see a couple top tier players maybe give I7 a little bit of a run for his money. I'm trying to see if there's anybody we haven't seen yet that might be able to do so. So Delulu, a bit of an unknown player for me in terms of 4v4s. I've seen them around in matchmaking and I've seen them play in previous tournaments, but they performed exceptionally well in both round 1 and round 2. So if we see them in a matchup against I7, we might see them perform, you know, might see them actually push them back a little bit, because Delulu, I believe, has played in every single FFA we've done. Let me have a look on our little leaderboard that we have. He has done, so he got 19 points in week 1, which wasn't great. 26 points on week 2, so, you know, regained quite a lot. And because he's played in both, that puts him in slot 18 currently, out of, or 17 rather. Yeah, I think if he does well in this next one and possibly, you know, puts I7 to a little bit of a pushback, we could see him push himself just high enough to make qualifiers for this Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to know on, you know, the caliber of players that are also looking to make themselves known from free-for-all, right? Probably not an area that, or an avenue that we haven't spoke about too much, in that if you have got players that are not picked up by orgs or professional orgs or semi-professional orgs, you know, is free-for-all a good way to kind of showcase what you're all about? Not only showing your individual prowess, but maybe even teams potentially looking at these style of games. Just curious on what your thoughts are on that, Reed. How much do you think teams look at free-for-all tournaments and how players compete in those to maybe, you know, future roster pickups, or maybe even people just to look at?
It's really important. 100% it's important, right? One player makes that evident, and that is Glory. Glory, before he got picked up onto the old Na'Vi squad, he came first in the FFA. I'm going to get myself confused. I'm going to say it was like Raleigh. It was one of the early HCS events last year. He turned up, just decided to play in an FFA, and came top out of every single player in NA and in EU, and then very quickly was picked up after that onto the Na'Vi squad, and just proved his worth. So I think it's really, really important. I mean, obviously, HCS FFA at a major is a little bit different to kind of what we're running here, but you can point to stuff like this and you can be like, hey, I played against 50 other players. We had 64 players in our first week, so I played against X number of players and I came on top, and that is a really effective tool to kind of use to showcase yourself to those potential orgs and potential more so teams and partners.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at Glory now, right? I think it basically proves everything that we were just mentioning. So I think we just had some scores coming in, Reed, with i7 on a total of 54. Niso came second and solidified his second place position with 40, being on 38. Ash and Reese 37, Aaron 36, and then Angel 23. Wow, middle of the pack, really close.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, 4 kills between second and fifth.
Yeah.
Can't get closer than that, right? Anyway, we're going to go to a quick break as we prepare ourselves for match number 3. I believe, Stallion, you're going to be giving us the adios, and we'll be bringing on Outcaster to join us for this last one. So any parting words you want to say before you head off?
No, thank you again for the opportunity, guys. Thank you to everybody in the chat. I hope you guys are enjoying the free-for-all tournaments, and have a great rest of your night.
Yeah, and we'll be sure to have you on streams in the future whenever we can get you around.
Thanks, guys.
Well, we'll throw to a quick 5-minute break, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, guys.
On Outcasted's podcast the other day, like it's nice to boot camp before every event if you can, but early on in the year, boot camps are less valuable than later on in the year, which is very, very true. Because if you are behind the game later on in the year, which is where the majority of the money is, that can be really detrimental to your long-term success and the amount of money you're bringing in for your own pockets as well as your potential orgs. So we'll be looking to boot camp maybe a little bit later on, maybe not before London, but hopefully we'll have organizational backing before then to accept all the invites we get to these boot camps. But yeah,
come
right
on,
now
orgs, just sign this squad. Come on,
we're going in raw, boys. We're going in raw.
What more proof do you need? Like, they're just on the major qualifier and the other 2 tournaments before that. Like, come on, it's taking the mickey a little bit. Sign them up already.
I'm a little bit upset because I think we were supposed to be first seed today, and Face It and EE or whoever it was decided we'd be second seed. Not sure why that was, but
Harold,
it doesn't matter.
Like I said, I'm just a caster here. I'm just
don't drag
shouting my mouth down the microphones.
Okay? Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. We don't take it personally, We don't take it personally. It's fine.
Well, I suppose you are technically guaranteed number 1 seed anyway, but it's all good. But honestly, 100%. I'm extremely happy for you and the rest of the squads who now go into number 1 seed. And the only thing I want to ask is, Jimbo's slaying potential from the upper bracket final to grand finals was just a monumental difference in comparison. All I want to ask is, what did he have before that grand final? Was it Weetabix, Frosties, Cocoa Pops, maybe dabbled in some Special K?
Beans on toast.
Is Harry's special potion. I can't tell you that. That's why I'm the coach. Okay.
Don't clip that and take it out of context. Stream.
No, I think he promised himself a Pizza Hut. I believe I was watching his stream before I hopped on Discord, so I think he promised himself a Pizza Hut, but he said it depends how well I play. So obviously he was playing for his pizza today.
So if he tossed, you would have got a Tops pizza instead.
Yeah, maybe like a Pizza Go-Go or something. Sorry, I've got a special guest here, lads. Give me a second.
Oh, go
on. It's the faux mascot. It's the boy. He was screaming to come in this whole time, and throughout the whole grand finals actually. But I was locked in. I couldn't let him in. But here he is. He is.
What a cutie.
He's very happy we secured first seed.
I can tell from his face he's extremely delighted.
Yeah, he doesn't look too happy right now, does he? It's all right.
Well, to be fair, what cats are happy? Let's put it that way.
That's a good point.
Anyways,
cats are better though.
Harold, fantastic stuff. You're going as number 1 seed. Congratulations. I'm sure you guys are going to absolutely smash it in Arlington and do us proud. Make sure to get the best placement possible. If you don't get first, don't come back, but that's fine. We'll let you off if you get like a top 4 finish or something.
Yeah, I hear that, lads. Good job today, both of you, and obviously all the team putting the stream together. Appreciate you guys putting on for European Halo. And any orgs out there, bang my line, all right? hello@wonderboy.gg is the email. Please lock these boys down to contracts before we get poached again. It's going to happen again, probably.
It's going to happen again.
Yes, listen to young man.
Listen
Pick
to
them up
the
now.
man.
They're still available, and I don't know how many times we have to say it on Twitter and God knows what else, but please just pick them
visit
up, or at
Wonderboy's
least get in
Twitter.
calls.
And if you're an org, check your LinkedIn, because I've been messaging your CEOs, your talent managers, everyone. I've been messaging them, and no one's replied. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
So rude.
unbelievable. But we'll have to let you go, Harold. We need to close the show. But thank you
Thank
so
you,
much
Wonder
for
Boy.
being here for the interview. And we'll catch you very soon, hopefully.
Cheers,
GGs.
lads. See you next time.
Today we spoke to some of EU Halo's finest players, casters and coaches to test their knowledge on some historical EU Halo team logos. Make sure to like, subscribe and comment your score. Let's get into it. Alright, we're going to start off, actually, I hope you know this one, but we're going to start off with this one.
What's that one? Of course, it's Epsilon.
Okay,
Record breakers. Epsilon.
Oh, okay, nice point on the board.
Epsilon.
Oh, good start, nice.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting some airline vibes from that. I have no idea.
It's a pass.
Okay, well, I'll give you a hint. We'll give you hints for each one if you don't know them, and you get half a point. All right. It was a Halo 5 roster.
Epsilon.
Yes, oh, we got it. All right, that's half a point already. Catching glory up already, maybe, potentially.
Infused.
That one.
Last team infused. Come on, next.
Oh, shit.
Next.
Okay.
Everyone knows that one.
All I'm thinking about is Dr. Disrespect.
It does kind of look, yeah, now that I look at it, like, it's making me rethink the whole logo. Logo number 3.
Envy.
Vibe.
Vibe.
That's Vibe.
That was his vibe.
Vibe,
Yeah, that was like his thing for like many years.
Ninja on that.
Oh yeah, Ninja was on Vibe as well. Halo 4 Land, Ninja Hybrid, Septic,
See, I've heard all
Xyrus.
these names where I'm so bad.
Supremacy?
Nah.
Clue.
All right, it was a Halo 5 French team. Starts with a P. They played 2016 kind of Pro League.
Pulse?
Oh my God, people have struggled on that one. Oh my, this could be the run, guys. World record run.
Oh, I did commentate them in the Pro
Oh
League.
no, this
Pulse. Pulse Esports.
coach, commentator. I think yeah, it's
A triple threat.
It's cheating, really, isn't it?
Pulse.
It's
Okay.
too fair.
That's actually, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, that's right.
It's the obvious one. It's Market. Marcus. What's that? Just kidding, it's Market.
Please get one wrong, please. So I might have to Google search a different one. Like.
Oh, thank God.
We might have a point on the board. How's that looking? What do you reckon?
Please tell me it's Market Esports.
It is Market Esports. A point on the board.
Power. Power Gaming.
Power
Gaming.
All right, yeah. He plays for Power. It's cheating, guys. Okay.
Is that an Xbox logo?
Well.
Oh, shit. Power.
Yes, Power. Okay, nice. Half a point on the board.
Red Ring of Death, bro. Fuck.
Halo 3 EU Powerhouse roster. They're Baxter.
Power.
It is Power.
Oh,
He's got
yes,
it. That's
bro.
half a point. Oh, this could be a bit more difficult, this one.
This is very difficult. I don't know that one. Jesus. No, I have no idea. You're forgetting I commentated Pro League. X-Men.
All right, it's kind of Halo 5 Pro League Season 1. One of the players in the roster, actually two of the players, Jimbo and Snipe Drone.
It's really bad because I were in charge for you Pro League.
God. To be fair, they're not a very storied team if you think about it. The team name is also the name of a famous movie franchise that involves a few superheroes.
Avengers.
No, it
DC
is.
Universe.
You know, you're gonna hate yourself. It was X-Men.
Oh.
You know, there is an X on it. You know this.
Yeah.
Oh, X-Men.
It's alright.
The X gave it away.
How's it looking?
I definitely know the logo.
Oh, I know this one as well. I can't think for the life of me.
No,
Right.
I don't. I'm struggling here.
No, we get a bit. See, we got a nice varying difficulty.
Yeah, it's through the eras.
All right,
Like,
this
Yeah, I actually don't know that one. Who's that?
Shall I tell you the roster?
Oh, High Society.
Yeah.
High Society, yeah. It's a terrible
no.
logo for High Society, isn't it?
No, I thought you said this was easy.
What's the clue, bro?
What's the clue? All right, the clue is, if you look at the logo, that's an L and that's a C. So it's two words, one starts with L, one starts with C. Two words.
Oh, London Conspiracy.
Yeah, so that's half a point on the board. We'll take that.
Again, I commentated these teams.
Yeah.
That's London Conspiracy.
Yeah. Right.
I need to get some history lessons.
No, it's okay. This is the history lesson. This is the whole purpose of the content. All right, last one. This could be a bit difficult judging on some of the other ones. I like the logo, to be honest.
It's a lion.
Oh, it is. Oh,
It
yes.
is a lion, and I'm hoping that is something to do with the name.
LLL. London Lions.
Yes, that's it. Oh, that's big. Good job. That might. I don't know if that's the top one. That's got to be up there.
See, that's one of my all-time favourite teams. Good old Infernos, Shinato, Lowland Lions.
Yeah, it's the GOAT org, the Dutch goes. It's got a few good Dutch players. You know, Zema, he's not bad, is he?
He's alright.
They're not
Lowland
around
Lions.
him. Oh, he got Lowland Lions. Yeah, straight in there. Halo 3. It was a Lowland Lions.
Lowland Lions.
The Dutch goats. Oh, I feel like I could tell you knew that one. Well, not bad.
I knew that one. To be fair, actually,
Yeah.
that's disappointing.
Hey, you did all right. To be fair. All right, they're called Lowland Lions. They were like an EU powerhouse roster. You know, had a few Dutch players.
It's okay. Look, you did good. I mean,
I got 1.5.
Yeah,
I got 1.5.
Look,
That's not too bad, is it?
Well, I think there could be some players who might get none. So at least you got a few.
Yeah.
And I think
To be fair, if you don't get Mocket, that's bad, bro.
Yeah, Mocket, they've been around. Like I said,
because they were in Infinite for a bit as well, weren't they? Like, so that's the only reason I know. Because I remember I got bulldozed in my first ever tournament by Stu.
Okay, and here are our final scores. In first place, we have Wonderboy with 9.5 points. In second place, we have Sims with 7.8. In joint third and fourth place is Baxter and Gas, both with 5.5 points. And unfortunately, in last place, it is going to be Glory with 1.5 points. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. We've got lots more content on the way, and we'll see you all again next time.
Translocator as well, which that could be a very impactful utility. Oh, just pancaking them with the repulsor. You get the immediate punch and then you slam them into a wall. Try and do the same thing here, and they're gonna have the follow-up from a teammate. And it is just a death grip of Drunken Record onto the squad. The shock rifle finds purchase as Jean is able to get a double kill from distance and then add to the killing spree, make it a triple. They want one extra. It's Foe that's able to read that kind of play. Oh, what a snipe. That's a double kill by the side of Kimbo. They're going to get another one. Trip kill. Looking for the overkill. They're presented at least the option. It won't count as... Have active camo coming up here online here soon. That's going to be a nade that's just dropped. They just watched and waited. Millsy did not expect the...
Hello, welcome back everybody. I'm joined by the one and the only Mr. Steve. How are you doing today, Outcast?
I'm good. How are you? I've been watching some of the games. I saw i7 was playing pretty well, as you'd expect, but yeah, I mean, it's been some good games so far. I've been keeping an eye on some of the previous weeks. I know Shane's been playing quite well, and a few other people have been kind of consistently playing, quite a high level. So I think the finals are going to be pretty stacked. So I'm kind of excited to see after we finish up the game today who the kind of final lineup ends up being for the finals on Saturday. But yeah, I love a bit of free for all, and I think it's nice to see a bit of a mix up with a format as well, so everyone gets a few more games in.
Yeah, exactly. It seems to be going pretty well, so we'll kind of see how it continues. And the format may be adjusted slightly for the finals. We're potentially exploring a little change for the finals. Maybe we can discuss that later on between these matches. But before we do that, as in a risk of running out of time, let's look through the groups that we're going to be looking at today. So we're going to be watching Group 2 of this round. So that's going to be Millsy, Niso, Tempt, Lizp, Icon, Aaron, Angel, and Full English. A few of these people I recognise from playing some MM against them. A few of them I've recognised from tournaments such as this. Obviously, the players to be watching out for, I believe, will be Millsy, Niso, and Tempt. Icon, you could throw him in there as well. Aaron was performing very well in round 1. We saw him round 2 where he performed good, but kind of not to like a Millsy level. But I'm happy to be proved wrong by that. And Tempt, I believe, is currently fourth. Ooh. He's fourth on our leaderboard overall for weeks 1 and 2 combined. However, he's the only player in the top 4 or top 5 even that is actually playing in this week. I think a few people kind of saw that they had already qualified through for the finals, so they decided to kind of give this week a pass, which is fine. But yeah, any players in there you're interested to watch?
I think I'm kind of mostly on the same page of you in terms of, I think, especially Millsy, Niso, Tempt kind of being like the big kind of three that I'd be looking at. I think, like you said, Icon's one of those players as well that you definitely could put in there. I think he's a very individually skilled player, and I know he's someone who's been playing a lot of free-for-all tournaments over the years, so it wouldn't surprise me seeing him definitely somewhere amongst the top 4. Apart from that, though, I'd say kind of similar for me. I think LZP, Full English, and Angel, I've heard of them, but I'm not like super knowledgeable on their kind of level, so they might kind of be wild cards for me a little bit, not kind of sure where they'd rank in this lobby. And I think Aaron as well, one of those players where I know he's been around kind of on and off for quite a while, but fairly recently I know he's been getting into doing more scrims and things like that, so maybe he could cause a few upsets. I think he's already had a few decent showings today in terms of some of the lobbies, so I think it's a good-looking lobby, fairly balanced. I don't think there's too much kind of crazy disparity, hopefully. But I think, Millsy is definitely going to be the player that, he should win both games, you'd expect, with the kind of level he plays at. But then I think also like Nisso's been someone that's really surprised me recently because like Tempt and Icon, they're players that they've been around for years. They've been to a few lands now, but I think Nisso's one of those players that almost just seemingly came out of nowhere in the last few months. I think it was Calpin that got him in the sauna or something randomly one day, and he's just like I think he's like a Dutch MNK player. He's like really individually skilled, so. I think
I was hoping to pick your brain a little bit on him and kind of get a little bit more understanding of his abilities, but sounds like you're maybe a little about as knowledgeable as I am about his abilities.
Yeah, I have scrimmed against him a few times, and he has surprised me because it feels like he just, like I say, he just came out of nowhere. Where like suddenly it's there's this new game of tag and matchmaking I don't really know, and suddenly he's scrimming against me and he's playing quite well. Like it seems like he got to like quite a solid level fairly quickly, and I think. I mean, I've not obviously played much MNK myself, but we talk a lot about how MNK sometimes just being able to like spin around quickly and clean up kills can be an important thing that maybe isn't as big of a deal in some of the other game modes. So just him being a talented MNK player can already kind of put him at like a level above some other players in terms of like kind of free for all prowess. So I think it'll be good. I think he's already starting to make a name for himself in the EU scene, just generally the last month or so, kind of getting in some of these scrims. But I think if he can continue to have some good showings in the free for all tournaments and hopefully make it to the final if he's not already, then I think that would be like a good kind of continuation of his kind of climb up the EU Halo ladder. We need some more MNK goats alongside Wooten. We can't just have one. We got a few more.
Yeah. So. Niso, for comparison, Niso came second in last match that we were just casting, me and Stalin. So he had 40 kills across both matches on live fire, with i7's 54. Okay. So quite a gap there between him and i7, although i7 did get majority of that in game 1. So there's a chance he could be up there for Millsy. He's definitely a threat to Millsy's dominance, and I'm interested to see how he plays. And it's players like that get into this position so quickly are the ones you have to watch out for, because as soon as they start adapting to that kind of uniqueness to Halo, how do you play an oddball super effectively? How do you manipulate spawns? Which a lot of these players come from games where that's not as important, whether it be something like Valorant or CSGO where spawns don't even happen, or a game like COD where the spawns are so quick they're just not as impactful.
Yeah, I think I definitely think, like you say, it can sometimes take a few months for people that are kind of newer to the comp scene and newer to kind of scrimming and playing tournaments to adjust. And I think that's why free for alls are so good, because if you've kind of got that raw individual talent, like even if you've not got maybe some of the other things that it takes to be like a top 4v4 player, just having that kind of natural ability individually can be enough to like get a solid placing in a free for all tournament. I mean, obviously there is still strategy to it and things like that, but a lot of it I think is just kind of pure instincts and just individual ability. So I think if you are someone that's individually skilled and you want to kind of get noticed to get a shot on like a solid 4v4 team, having a good performance in a free-for-all tournament is like a really good potential like first step. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice to see a mix of kind of newer players and some veteran players in. I think Icon as well. Like I say, he's been around a while, and I think I'm hoping that he can have a solid placement, because I think he's a kind of very strong member of the community. He's always playing 8s and things like that. I know he's not been competing as much recently in the 4v4s and things, but I think it's always nice to see him take part in the tournaments. And I'm also hoping he can qualify for the finals. I can't keep saying about everyone. I hope everyone qualifies for the finals, but I hope a decent amount do. They're in this lobby.
Yeah, I remember Icon performing very, very well in our winter FFA that we did. So there's definitely a little bit of a transition there. So Icon's currently 13th in our scoreboard. So he got 24 points in week 1 and 26 points in week 2, with a maximum number of points being 45. So kind of middle of the pack for both, but playing in both definitely really accelerates that. So that's a really good standing for him to potentially push through into the finals if he performs well in this next group that we see coming up. Just while we wait, because we're just waiting on a player to join the lobby, just while we wait for that, I want to pick your brain a little bit, because you're a very competent Halo 5 player.
Thank you.
That was your heyday. That was when you were the man, right?
Oh, true.
I never played Halo 5, and I've heard there's another crappy Halo 5 map coming, like Solitude, another map that I disdain as a player. Anyway, it's quite fun to watch. I'm just bad at the game. But give me your knowledge about Rig quickly while we get this map loaded up.
Well, I guess quickly, I think obviously as a Halo 5 fan, I'm probably a little bit biased, but I did like the map. I think it's a kind of unique layout compared to a lot of kind of traditional Halo maps. So I think it definitely has the potential to play well. I think from what I'm hearing anyway, for HCS, it might only be Strongholds as a game type, which was that was one of the game types it was kind of known for in Halo 5. So you'd assume it would be a good run, but hopefully it's not too snowbally like Solitude. I think that's one of the things maybe is in terms of the scaling of things. The Halo 5 maps and Halo maps to scale properly. It's going to be game one here. And yeah, I'm excited to get it on the and
yeah, I mean,
one
thing that I've noticed for FFA at least is I keep calling out. I'm like, oh well, players are going to stick themselves towards the P side. However, players have kind of transitioned away from that a little bit, which is mostly due to the DMR. But you've still got the overshield spawning now in the bottom of P side, which then kind of pulls people back to it a little bit. But yes, we see Tempt here manage to get his hands onto the overshield really quickly, but he does get stuck by Angel, so that is a trade that will go through there. Niso actually is pushed ahead a little bit here with 3 kills on the board already, no deaths. And I'm not quite sure how he's going to go through that. He manages to get the jump on Icon from across the map that takes him up to 4. And a decent start for him, the Dutch god.
Yeah, good start for Niso, and I think, yeah, like you say, sometimes in free-for-alls, just having that good start can be such a big factor because, even though obviously there's 8 minutes or so in the game, you can still technically have a kind of good middle game, good late game. I think just for your early confidence to have that strong start, it can really kind of snowball things in your favor. So, it's definitely good if you can get a few kills off the start, and I think Niso already at 4 kills. You can see the rest of the lobby now starting to catch up just a little bit. Millsy, definitely one of those players when most of us will be kind of keeping an eye on. I think we're all expecting at some point in the game for him to go on a nice bit of a spree and maybe start taking over, but I think early on, the longer these players can kind of keep it level and keep themselves within a few kills, they're definitely going to give a lot of confidence as LZP does get taken down P2. Angel now pushing into util, and I like what Angel's doing here. This is kind of my strategy on free-for-all at least, is just kind of patrolling the outsides mainly. I think I kind of like avoiding the middle of the map because you just open yourself up to getting shot from so many angles. And yeah, this is what Angel's doing right now, just kind of patrolling the outsides, having some good reticle placement, being ready. And unfortunately not running into anyone at the moment. I think maybe being a bit stationary, and Niso might have caught Angel out, or I think that one might have been Tempt, not quite sure. But Niso at 5 kills, Tempt at 7 though, as Millsy just gets to 6. But yeah, fairly competitive start here, and it looks like the overshield's about to be up.
Yeah, we do see a couple players vying for control of the overshield. We saw Millsy get taken out by Angel as he was just waiting up for it. It has now spawned up, and it looks like we have Tempt attempting to grab that again, but Full English will take him out and pop it for himself. However, the pure damage coming out by LZP across from Yellow Bridge is basically already stripped him of that overshield, and he goes down without even getting 1 kill with it. Which makes you think, was it all worth it? Probably not. One thing I've always struggled to work out here, Outcast, is the strategy that you kind of proposed there a second ago, patrolling the outside of the map, trying to get the jump on some fresh spawners, getting a few kills, the way to go? Or is it just constantly throwing yourself into that meat grinder, hoping to get majority of the kills? And yeah, you're going to get lots of deaths, but at the end of the day, if you've got 10 more deaths than somebody and 1 more kill, you're still beating them on that leaderboard.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that's kind of my general approach, is like getting in as many fights as possible, and always when you can playing for a trade. I will say though, maybe one of the differences in this format compared to kind of traditional free-for-all formats is, oh my god, I killed tackler from Millsy. I zone out for a second, he's going to kill tack. Like, this is just what happens when I start waffling. But yeah, maybe if I waffle more, he'll get more multi-kills. But yeah, Millsy, as you'd expect, starts popping off at some point. We called it, so now he's in the lead. We'll have to see how long he can hold it for, but as I was saying mid-waffle, I think, yeah, if you can play for those trades consistently, it kind of guarantees a top 4 placing for the most part if you do it effectively, which for traditional free-for-all tournaments, right, getting top 4 is what you need. But I think in this format, where maybe getting a first or a second might be more valuable and could be a difference between qualifying and not qualifying, I think maybe you might want to take a few more risks and maybe not give your opponents those trades. But I think, yeah, just a general strategy of high engagement's definitely something in free-for-all that is going to be a good strategy. And I think, running around the outside is a pretty surefire way to just keep finding enemies. I think sometimes if you just run towards the action, by the time you get there, the fight's already over, and if you feel a little bit silly. But I think for only 4 minutes left though, and I mean, a few players, I think the likes of Icon, Aaron, I'm a little bit surprised they're as low down as they are, but as we all know, free-for-all, bad RNG can happen, but Millsy at 17, not too surprising, but the rest of the pack behind that is really, really tight. I mean, you can see Tempt at 12, Nisso at 11, Angel as well, one of the players I was saying that I'm not too knowledgeable about, already at 10, so I'm really interested to see this kind of fight for second and third potentially, because I don't want to call it too early, but it seems like Millsy might have first place locked down already.
Yeah, Icon does have the overshield in hand, and can he do a lot of stuff with it? He's going to try on. He takes on full English, can't quite get the finish. Does eventually hunt him down and finish up, but his overshield is basically stripped. He gets his eyes there on Millsy, but just past him at the wrong time. He does see him. He's still one shot, but I think by the time he'll catch up to Millsy, Millsy will have recharged, but luckily gets a little bit of help there from another player in blue util, or yellow util rather, across the map. And Icon's getting some pretty nice location that will allow him to elevate himself into that running for that second place. And this has kind of been a running theme we've seen through these FFA tournaments. The first place player just kind of runs off with it a little bit, and then it's just everybody scrapping for that second, third and fourth place, which does make a massive difference in the way that we're pointing this, that we're scoring this tournament out. So
yeah.
I'm really excited to see how this breakout happens, and I think Niso might be struggling a little bit on this map compared to Li-Fi, just because MNK definitely favours those larger maps.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that, and I think, yeah, like you said, it's something that I've heard from a few MNK players is these more kind of close quarters maps sometimes, unless you're like one of the top 1% maybe, it's like, it can be really difficult to kind of connect with those shots, but I think it's interesting now, only 2 minutes left as we look at the scoreboard, still fairly tight for that kind of top 4 placements, and, you know, something I was talking to Shane about, who I think has already qualified for the final, is, you know, that whole kind of mind game that goes on of, like, you see an opponent in front of you, and you know if that guy kills you, that could potentially affect your own placing, so where maybe you might shout that player to the death, instead you kind of back down and maybe let someone else get the kill on you, and I always find that really interesting, the kind of mind games to go on. I think thankfully for Millsy, he's not going to worry about any mind games because he's just killing the shit out of everything, but I think everyone else here might have to maybe kind of keep an eye on which players they're running into, whether they should go for a trade, whether they should just maybe try win the fight outright. As I mean, Tempt on 17, Nisso on 17, I think those are the two players we were both saying might be up there. Angel still surprised me all the way at 16, having a really, really strong game. Icon only a few kills behind as well, and I think with a minute and a half left, there really is anyone from kind of all the way from first to kind of sixth that could get in those top 4 placings. I think maybe Aaron might unfortunately be the only player that you think might be a little bit too far behind the pack, but I think it's nice to see how kind of tight it's staying, and I'm thinking Tempt and Nisso here looking strong, but I'd love to see a late run here from Angel to kind of secure that top 4.
Yeah, I'm very surprised actually at Angel, in a good way, because we saw him finish one of the maps earlier with only 5 kills at the end, which was not a great showing from him, and he was quite far behind the rest of the players in that match, but he is doing very, very well now, and I'm glad that he has reversed that, and I'm hoping he can gain a decent number of points from this to possibly hit qualification, because he has played a lot of these events these past few weeks. But Niso, we are back on board with. He tries to third party this one and will successfully get at least one of those kills. Now letting himself regen up. He does get caught just on the regen, so Aaron will end up finishing him off. LeeZP tries to take on the demon that is Millsy. Millsy somehow manages to stay alive and just goes for the chal against Angel whilst one shot and still comes out of it with his life.
Yeah,
honestly,
no,
he is just a demon.
He's on 35 kills in a game this short there's no easy feat, as yeah, Millsy looks to have it locked up, but Nisso as well on 24, that's a big trade, that should basically guarantee second place, you'd assume, as Tempt also taken down, going to be stuck at 22, and it looks like Angel might have actually secured third place by the look of it, unless I'm not reading that correctly, so really good showing I think, and I think, you know, let's pat ourselves in the back, Reed. I think our predictions are pretty on point for the top 3 at least. I think fourth place, you know, maybe not quite there, but you know, we'll take 3 out of 4. As we'll have a quick look at the stats, shall we, if they are ready. And I think, yeah, Millsy, I've definitely thought he would win, but maybe not by 11 kills. So that is good to see that he's playing at the level we hope he can reach. In terms of the assists, no one too stand out. I think Tempt with 14 showing maybe got a little bit unlucky in parts. Maybe could have got a second on a different day. But yeah, good showing, I think, for Angel. And I think we'll have to see how things go in map 2. But so far, I think it seems like everyone's playing fairly as expected, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm hoping that as we go into this next map, we might see some of these players able to overcome some of the differences. So Millsy's going to be very difficult to unseat, right? Let's be honest. Niso, though, him and Tempt could easily switch that around, right? If Tempt is able to get a couple kills over Niso, he already had less deaths, he already had more assists. He can even go neck and neck with Niso on kills by the end of this, and he'll end up winning that tie drawer. So there's quite a decent chance that we could see this scoreboard get kind of mixed up a little bit as we move into the second round of here. Do you think there's anything that this group particularly can learn from that first map going into the next map of how they might play it differently to kind of edge out each other?
I don't know, but I think free-for-all is such an interesting game type where it really is such a fine balance between strategy and just kind of like RNG sometimes. And I think I'm sure there's players that they'll think of maybe 3 or 4 instances that game where they missed a few shots they shouldn't have, and maybe that kind of cost them a few kills. But I think also, like we were saying before, maybe just a change up of strategy. You know, like if you're finding yourself kind of standing still a bit too much or trying to cross map, maybe just try to be a bit more aggressive around the sides, or maybe just try to play like one side of the map more often, like P side or car side. I think sometimes just changing up to strategy in your head, even if it doesn't maybe make the most sense kind of when you rationally lay out, I think just having that mentality of, oh, you know, I'm just going to change things up, and that's why I lost that last game. You know, it wasn't me, it was because I was doing the wrong thing strategy wise, and we'll change up now and everything will be good. But I think, yeah, free-for-all, I don't know about you, but from my experience playing it, and I know I spoke to a few other players, it can be one of the most rage-inducing game types to play in a tournament, because it's just you got nothing else you can blame. You can't blame your teammates. It's just you, and you're the only reason you're losing, and it feels very RNG-based. So I think as much as maybe people might underestimate it, I think having a strong mental game in these free-for-all tournaments is a really kind of big asset, because you can't just have one unlucky game and kind of let that get to you. You got to be able to, you know, shake it off, mentally bounce back, and you know, come out strong for the next game.
Yeah, and I think that perfectly encapsulates what we saw from Angel. Angel, he went 5 and 23, or I don't know exactly what the score was. I'll try and find it. But he didn't let that get to him. He came back with a vengeance, was able to perform really well in the second map of that match, but more importantly, he came out like fire into this one and took 4th place. And in a lobby like this, taking 4th place, you should really pat yourself on the back with that.
Yeah,
so,
I agree. I agree. It's a really good show, and it'd be interesting to see if Angel can keep it up in this next lobby and maybe get a back-to-back top 4, because I think, you know, that'll be, like you say, a really good chunk of points. And I think for these players that have kind of made a decision to play each week in these tournaments, sometimes that can be enough to just kind of get you over the line and qualify. You know, if maybe some of these other players have maybe missed out a week thinking they've got it locked in, and maybe you come in at the last moment and, you know, get a few strong placings towards the end. You never know how things shake out. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how this last game goes. And I think something we haven't really spoke about too much, or is the kind of the dynamic of the overshield, right, on this game type, because, you know, it's such an interesting thing, because even in 4v4 sometimes it can feel so difficult to grab the overshield when there's 4 enemy players potentially kind of shooting at you. But in free-for-all, when there's more than 4 players shooting at you, it's like you can be like, yes, I've got the overshield. Oh, never mind, suddenly all my shields are gone because the whole lobby's looking at me because the overshield's got a big marker above it. So it's a really interesting dynamic, I guess, when to choose to go for that overshield grab, as opposed to maybe choosing to bait it and using it to get a kill or 2 yourself. So I think that's going to be something that's going to be interesting, especially when we get to the finals and we see a lot of these higher level players. But off to start here, Aaron does find a kill. I think Aaron had a bit of a slower game than maybe most of us were expecting last time around, so it'd be nice to see if he can turn it around nice and early on here. And I think already starting off with 2 kills, going to be exactly the start you want. As I think Nisso wanted to go for a thruster pack MK Ninja. I feel like I kind of see what he was going for, but maybe I think Temp was kind of onto him there a little bit.
It was like that scene in the movies, right, where you see the big kind of boss zombie come along, and the lead player just chucked his gun to the side and sprint straight at him. He just stopped even caring about trying to shoot him. He went straight for his face, but he didn't quite make it. A nice effective use of the overshield there by Tempt, but I think you're right. The overshield is almost not as effective in FFA. Ooh, nice stick there from Niso. Actually able to get the double kill with it as those players got so close to each other. I think the camo is definitely more of an effective weapon in FFA than it is than the overshield is. But you know, we'll see. Yeah, as we get into the finals, what those really top tier lobbies are going to make of it. But Niso had a decent start again this time. Not quite as well as he did on the first match. And remember, he only was 2 kills above Temp. And he was, I think, 5 and 0 at the beginning of the last map. So we're going to have to see a similar showing from him if he wants to maintain that second place by the end of this match. But Anyway, we're now on with full English. He is trying to get the flank on some of these outside players. He sees a body fall on him, manages to catch out Niso, actually gets the kill for basically free there by just getting one shot into him as Niso grenades himself. And a nice well-placed nade here will take down Aaron, but I think he's actually ran out of nades, nearly gets styled on, but doesn't quite let that happen. He now notices the overshield is coming up, and rightfully so, he is keeping his eyes over to that side of the map, as we see Niso and Millsy fighting over the overshield, and it doesn't look like either of them actually got away with it. I'm not quite sure where that went, Steve.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Millsy looks like got it as you'd expect, and for Millsy to get away with a full overshield is an impressive feat as well. So he must have had some really good timing on that grab, as he does find 2 kills there. And I was about to start talking about, oh, you know, Millsy not quite having the hot start he was last game potentially, but he's already at 9 kills off the back of the overshield. And I'm liking the way he's playing this. Unfortunate not to get that kill on Icon, but locking down the base, and I expect him to kind of aggressively push out one of these directions very soon and start hunting down these players. As he does miss the slide, beats down the air in frustration, like what I'm seeing from Millsy, is he's been quite unfortunate. And this is the thing about free-for-alls. You can be a really good player, you can hit all your shots, but sometimes you just get a little bit of bad timing and you can go 20 seconds without seeing someone, and you know that is definitely a thing. But I love that play from Millsy to go for the stick, and you know, that's something we saw from Niso as well a minute ago, right? I think when you're playing these free-for-alls, if you can just have that mentality in the back of your head of get a trade, just make sure I get a trade, whether it's a free shot beatdown, whether it's a sticky grenade, you know, you've not always got to go around 5-shotting everyone like Legend, you know, sometimes just getting the stick, getting the beatdown kill, you know, that can kind of keep you in the fight for those top 4 placements, and then, you know, hopefully towards the end of the game you can just kind of clutch up when it matters the most. So, you know, you can see maybe that's something for these players to note as, you know, that when they go into future tournaments or future rounds, you know, even someone like Millsy, you know, just can play for those sticks, play for those beatdown kills, and, you know, just kind of consistently have that higher consistency of just racking up kills. As LZP unfortunately doesn't get the beatdown. Tempted looking to clean up a kill onto Angel here. Nice reroute there. I like that play from him. Has only got 6 deaths though from Tempt, and that's something that it'd be interesting to kind of keep an eye on as this game progresses. As usually I think low deaths can be an indication that someone is maybe playing their life a little bit too much in free-for-all, or maybe it can be an indication like that situation that Tempt's just winning all his gunfights. We'll have to see if that continues to be the case, but the overshield coming up here in about 4 seconds time, and with only 4 minutes left in this game, with how closely contested once again this whole lobby is this time around, this overshield grab really could play a big factor as Tempt somehow, the beatdown's not connected from full English. I don't know how that's been allowed to happen, but it's been shut down unfortunately. But that was a really good run from Tempt, and I think off the back of that, I mean, you look at the score, Millsy tied with Niso at 14, and Tempt's not too far behind either.
Yeah, no, I think we basically had the camera on both Tempt and Icon for a similar amount of time there. Icon was kind of getting a little bit lost in the map, couldn't quite find any of the fresh spawners. He would run into an area where people had just traded and it wasn't really working out for him. But Tempt, on the other hand, he was having players after player running at him, and he was getting the movement right to live up and stay alive and get that triple kill. And nearly went for the overkill, but, you know, the overshield put an end to that. But a nice living here by Aaron, was able to get up, get those full shields back. And I don't think LZP was expecting that full shield enemy to come running out to him after all those nades he had put through the red door, but it will still go through. We now see Niso get a bit third-partied, but still end up taking down LZP, and he is now in the fridge by himself. Tried to finish off that kill, won't quite make it happen. Icon is now all by himself, but he didn't take too much damage there, so he was able to finish off Niso and end up on top of that little battle.
Yeah, this is a really, really closely contested game. Definitely a lot more than last time. I mean, you think about how many kills Millsy got on the last free-for-all. Now to only be a few kills ahead of the rest of the pack. Maybe a chance, maybe a sign that Millsy might have slowed up a little bit, maybe realizing that he's got qualification in the bag. But you can see there's still a lot to play for everyone else there. And this, so you know, you can get a win over a player like Millsy as a nice stick comes in again. Icon here, unconventionally, maybe patrolling P1. And bottom mid looking to catch one of these players out, as he does catch out Aaron 2 ends, but not able to connect with the last shot. Aaron with a nice grenade, doesn't get the kill when Millsy's just there to clean up 2 1-shots. That is some really good RNG, and that's what you need a little bit sometimes. But it seems like Tempt's definitely making a kind of concerted effort to lock down these fridges on both the yellow and the P side, and maybe that's the strat he has found the most success with, maybe the strat he feels most comfortable with. But you can see it's working out fairly decently. Maybe not getting in as many engagements as you'd like for a free-for-all tournament, but I mean, he's consistently put himself in positions where he can't get flanked right, and he can get that first shot on players. So we'll have to see if it kind of continues to wield some success. As Angel did have the overshield, but maybe not able to connect with as many kills as he would have liked. Still at 15 kills though is Angel with most assists as well, so another strong game off the back of that top 4 placement last game. Only a minute and a half left though, as it looks like despite Millsy maybe having a bit of a slower game overall, he is most likely still going to be the winner of this lobby. But the rest of it, I mean, Nisso was on 18, Tempt 18, Icon 17. There's a lot of players here who could vie for those top 4 placings, as Nisso going for the double kill, not able to get it. Millsy looking to ruin everyone's fun and stop them from getting top 4 here, as he is somehow not been taken down. That trade should not be allowed to happen, as Millsy gets a nice 3-shot beat down. And yeah, only a minute left in the game, and once again, it's hard to call it.
You basically hit the nail on the head. This is such a close match. A nice double kill there by Niso. Niso's really trying to claw himself ahead. He's being tailed very closely by Tempt and Icon, but remember, he's still 2 kills ahead, so you can kind of consider him to be on 23 compared to those others. And he needs to make sure that he can maintain this. He's got 42 seconds left. It's perfectly doable. And I would love to see Niso come out of this with a second place finish, because that really would set him up well going into the finals on Saturday. Oh, a nice little use of the stick grenade there. Again, you don't actually care about getting into gunfights. All you want to do is just make sure you can get a kill and move on. Get a kill and move on. And it's all about rate of kills, if anything. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Because Tempt here, find himself bottom mid, does do a good job to secure the trade. As you can see, Nisso, Icon and Tempt, they're all within 1 kill of each other. And if someone can just get a double kill here, but Nisso finds a kill, that is absolutely massive, as that might have single-handedly locked him down that second place. We'll have to see if anyone else can find a kill. It looks like that's not going to be the case, as Millsy only won by 3 kills this time around, but he has won, and that's the most important thing. Nisso only 3 kills behind does secure second place, and I think Icon and Tempt just a little bit further behind, but I think a stronger game from Icon overall than the last time around. But yeah, so I guess we're starting to see a little bit of consistency maybe in the levels, and I think unsurprising to most people, Millsy has won both games back to back. Yeah, I mean, let's take a look at the stats here a little bit, outcasted. So Millsy only actually hitting 21 deaths, so you know, he wasn't playing his life as well as like someone like Icon or Tempt was. But I think you kind of alluded to it midway through that game. You don't want to be playing your life too well, because just means you're not getting in those engagements, right? And those engagements are where you can get those finish-up kills, or kind of, you know, the odd headshot and third party onto something, which is really where you make the difference in a game like this. But perfect showing from all of those guys. I think they did an amazing job, and we'll be running all those numbers in the background, and we'll try and work out exactly who our top group is that will be moving into the finals on Saturday. We may see you on Saturday. We haven't yet decided if we'll see you around for that one, but I will definitely be joined by James on Saturday for that. And then going into Sunday, we will have, of course, HCS, which you will be competing in, possibly. Yes, do you know if you're going to be playing with a team on Sunday? We will see. We will see. Well, either way, we'll definitely have you on cast at some point, and we'll get to hear your expert EU knowledge. We'll pry it from your brain as we watch some of those top tier players, because it is really heating up in Europe, as everyone's getting very excited here for London. But yes, thank you guys for watching. Thanks, Stallion, for joining us as our caster before you. And a big thank you to all of you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed the FFA today, and we hope you will enjoy the finals on Saturday, which we will have drops for. So that's going to be a very exciting one, and we will also obviously have drops for HCS on Sunday. So 2 big streams back to back, and we really appreciate the support you've been giving us these past few weeks in this lineup to HCS London. I think, as we can say, this is probably the most exciting time in the last 3 years for European Halo, with maybe Blackpool coming on par with the last major LAN that we had. But yeah, any parting words, Outcast, before we close up here? No, I appreciate you guys having me today for the free-for-all. Looking forward to the finals on Saturday, and then, like you say, more EU HCS action on Sunday. Should be a blast. It's nice to have a nice action-packed schedule for EU Halo. Makes a nice change and helps keep everyone excited for, like you said, the LAN in London coming up, which should be an absolute banger. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I guess we'll see you next time. Yeah, thanks everybody.